The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Hello, this is Zack Sabre Jr., New Japan Cup winner 2018. And you're listening to Keepin It Strong Style with my mates. Enjoy.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frost. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here, joined by the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary, naming the November Wrestler of the Month and Match of the Month, giving you an update on World Tag League, as well as covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. All right, young boy, 1 year of Keeping It Strong Style is in the books. We did it.
Bro, it's our paper anniversary. As I sit here right now, I'm looking it up on Google. The traditional 1-year anniversary gift is paper. But the good news, we're not no paper champions. We're the real deal. We are the ace. The ace. What are we called?
The ace of podcasts.
Oh, yeah. We're the ace of podcasts. Oh, man, it's been a long day. And it's been a long year.
It has,
my
dude.
gosh.
This last year has flown by, man.
It has. Like, in a way, it's like flown by. And in another way, it's like been literally like an hourglass, just like tiny drops of sand. Like, but before you know it, like, we're here. Like, I literally cannot believe that we're at our 1-year anniversary. Like, that's crazy. Like, oh my god. What kind of anniversary guy are you, like, in relationships? Like, you do it up big?
Yeah, do it out big. You know, sometimes, you know, big dinner, gifts, or maybe like a mini vacation or something. You know, a cruise or something like that.
You know what? I'm a pretty good boyfriend and stuff like that, or dater. Well, if I want to be. When I don't, I'm not. But you know, like, I've never kept an anniversary.
Really?
Never. Like, this is the most committed relationship I've been in a long time. Like, you and me, Jeremy. Like, this is crazy, man. Bro. We live together. We got this show.
Podcast together.
Bro, we're tag team champions of New Japan Pro Wrestling podcasting.
We are the Palm Harbor Wrestling Quiz champions of the world.
Yeah, we actually are. Yeah, we're like, here in the next few weeks, we're going on the Ricky and Clive game show extravaganza.
Oh yeah, the big quiz showdown.
Yeah, the 6-man tag. Last time we were on there, like, we freaking mopped them. We dragged them, and they're inviting us to come back on there and do a WWE versus New Japan 6-man tag.
UK versus Florida.
UK versus Florida. They have a secret 6-man. We have a secret 6-man. We're coming in to defend our belts, defend our titles, and our prestige. And yeah, that's going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. The FOH draft is coming up.
Oh, yes. Our big Social Suplex Christmas episode. Me, you, Rich Latta, and James Boyd. That's going to be...
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. That's like one of the wildest podcasts of the year.
All sorts of stuff, man. Wrestle Kingdom is literally, like, around the corner. World Tag League's been lit. We freaking... man, I don't know. Like, our year-end awards is popping off like way more than last year. Like, it's insane. Like, this has been great.
Yeah, man. And so, you know, we've been doing this for a year now. Like, any shout-outs, memories, anything you want to throw back to?
All sorts of stuff. Well, bro, just think about, like, I've never gone back and listened to it, but, I mean, I'm sure, like, it's not very good, and B, I just wonder what our takes were like. But our first episode that we ever did was on the U.S. expansion.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember exactly what... I know, like, we talked a lot about the upcoming U.S. shows, Supercard and, Long Beach. And I don't even think we knew about all the other, U.S.-based shows they'd end up doing. But, I mean, lots of speculation about the Elite, what their future would be.
Some Jericho talk, I believe.
Jericho, yeah, man. And that was a short podcast, too, compared to, like...
It was like an hour and 30 minutes. Whew. And I was like, oh, all right, that'll be like the normal every week. And then next thing you know, 2 hours. 2 hours and 30.
Bro, it's
3 hours.
It's hard when you enjoy a product like this so much.
Right.
Like,
and we want to give you like the best in-depth coverage that we can.
It's not only that, it's like we do one show a week. You know what I mean? It's not like when we do a show... It's not like Observer, we're dropping it every day or something like that. So, like, I hope and expect that the people that listen to us, like, if you can stomach listening to us yap for that long, cool. But, I'm sure, like, for me, when I used to listen to podcasts that were longer, I would, listen in my car. So, I mean, I drive to work.
Right. I mean, I listen to podcasts at work, so, like, that gets me through the day.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, that's exactly how it was. That's kind of how I consumed it. So, I liked when it was longer. I mean, I get, like, time constraints, but... Man, like, to see where we were at just 1 year ago with the podcast.
Dude, the first episode, I mean, barely any downloads. And, like...
Yeah, what did we do, like 40?
Yeah, like 40, 50 downloads the first episode. And, like, ever since then, dude, every week...
Everything has grown exponentially.
Yeah, man.
The show has just gotten better, like our viewership, our listenership, like
engagement. Yeah,
well, not anymore, but for a long time we were like the newest show on our network, and we surpassed all of them. And I'm like, and I'm not saying that like out of pride. It's like it's a fact. Like although One Nation Radio over on Lord's LOP, like they're killing it. Like,
yeah, they're killing it over there,
killing our numbers.
But yeah, dude, and to think, like, this wasn't a grand plan. Literally, we watched a horrible Survivor Series 2017 and talking about how bad WWE was, and then we started talking about how good New Japan was, and I remember I was like, why don't we do a New Japan podcast?
Yeah, and I was like, that would be cool. I didn't really know what I was getting into. I did not know what kind of commitment, like, this would actually be.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was a pretty avid, like, New Japan fan, and I was passionate about the product. But then when I realized, like, oh, I got to watch, like...
Road 2.
all these Road 2 shows and the entire, like, World Tag League. Like, bro, we started with the World Tag League. And we'll talk about the World Tag League. It's been great this year. But last year...
It was a rough way to start.
to initiate yourself as, like you've never watched a full, like, tournament from New Japan. And then you turn around and you're like, I'm going to start with... World Tag League 2017, like, oh my god, like it's a wonder we even made it to Wrestle Kingdom, like.
Yeah, dude. And we had this podcast connected us to a whole bunch of people. I mean, we got to interview Chris Charlton this summer. That's like one of the episodes I'm probably most proud of.
Bro, like, because of this show, like, we've been able to interact with all sorts of wrestlers. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Minoru Suzuki, Juice Robinson.
Ishii, Rocky Romero, Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, like, the list goes on. And other, like, wrestlers within the industry.
And, like, we've been able to, like, break into, like, the local scene. We interviewed Joey Osborne and Blanco Loco. Aaron Nova.
We've been able to travel the country and go to
dude,
events like All In and WrestleMania.
Yeah, dude.
We've been able to connect with other, like, people that are involved in the New Japan, like, online community and things of that nature. And, like, the fact that people listen to this, like, it really blows my mind.
Right, dude. It's
like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then we've had some loyal listeners throughout this year. Guys like Mr. ACP, who we were able to meet at the CEO cross.
What up, ACP?
Mr. ACP always, make sure to let us know whether we're right or whether we're wrong. Every week, let us know what it is.
That's our boy.
Yeah, dude, I love Mr. ACP. Guys like Muzza, Maserati,
Jar of Peanuts, Gentlemanly Dragon.
Yes, Dom Homie 101, Sir Sam from LLP is a big listener.
Bro, even, like, people that we know, like, shout out to Jimmy Flips.
Yeah, BJ Baker.
Yeah.
Zach Porter. I mean, the man is mailing us Shibata T-shirts.
Yeah, So shout out to Zach. He's a good friend of the show and actually like a friend in real life now. To commemorate our first year, he's like sending us these Shibata shirts, and like I actually tried to look those shirts up after you showed it to me, and like I can't find it on the internet. So
dude, Zach has the plug.
I don't know where
on all these.
Those Shibata shirts are free, bro. I'm great at finding stuff on the internet. Like we could meet somebody, right? And if I want to like find them on Instagram or something like that, like it doesn't take much for me. I can find whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You tell me you want to find like a certain like product or whatever, like I'll find it. I can't find those shirts. I literally don't know where he got them, but they're freaking raw, and like that's such like a nice thing. Like it's kind of cool because we've been buying people shirts all year with all the like giveaways and all the different like contests. Which, that's been like a ton of fun. Like I don't know, man. Like it's been so cool. Like being able to like interact with fans who were not familiar with this product and help them get familiarized with New Japan Pro Wrestling and, you know, Puroresu and like all that sort of stuff. So like that's been like I've been really proud of what we do.
Yeah, and we and also, you know, everybody else that supported the show, you know, Rich Latta, who raps our entrance theme song. He was on the bonus episode last week and has been on a couple other episodes. James Boyd has been on the episode from One Nation Radio. We've had
shout out to Jamie Spector.
Spector. We've had James Boyd. We had Kyle Moores, the Golden Lover from Outsiders Edge.
Not the SMC podcast. All sorts of people. Like, and we need to have more guests in the future. Although, like, we did get a complaint. Like at one point, like we were doing too many, and people were like, "I like it when it's just you two guys."
Yeah, because I think we did like two of them like back to back or something like that, or
yeah, and it wasn't even like that big a deal. Like, but I think we did the WrestleMania episode, which was all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And then the next week we did Sakura
Genesis and James was on. Yeah,
people were like, "You guys are doing too many guests. You guys are getting kind of westernized."
Goddamn pal.
Yeah, man. And yeah, that's been so cool. Like me and Jeremy have been able to just like, we don't ever, guys, I don't know if you can tell, like I don't know how professional the show comes off, but like me and Jeremy don't sit around and like practice or like prepare. I mean, we do prepare, like we prepare the news and we prepare like the questions and the topics
and stuff like that.
But what we're going to say is literally off rip.
Like any like quote unquote bits that you might think we like.
It's been funny how many like organic, like funny things have like popped off this, and like all the like just different like little nuanced things that
and
we
like
do.
Inside jokes, like, you know, I popped it, like talking about now the driving while watching wrestling. And
yo, I'm gonna stop doing that. We need to let's not bring that up. But yeah, I've just and you know another thing too is like I work in sales, like that's my whole background, so I live in a world of rejection, you know, and I've always thought like I could handle rejection like it was nothing, but I'm really protective of our show and I'm really passionate about what we do. Maybe to a certain extent I'm a mark for myself or for us. So like every once in a while when someone, it's very rare, but every once in a while I'll see something where someone says something negative or disagrees, and like, dude, I never expected to be so like butthurt about it. But I'll be like, hey, like, you know, like but the reality is, I say that to say this, like the amount of negativity towards our show is so minimal, but the amount of positivity that you guys give to us and the positive feedback and support is like so appreciated and so unexpected and like very like humbling and surprising most of the time.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you guys enjoy what we do, like just to wrestling fans, like, you know.
And even like shout out to like random people. Like I have like random people at work or like at church that will check it out just to support me. I mean, they don't watch wrestling at all, but they just want to hear what it is and what it's about. And they're like, man, it's, you know, a really good show. Like I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but this sounds like a really good professional show. You guys sound passionate, like, you know what you're talking about. Like, it's great stuff, so.
Yeah, I think, like, the one thing that we have going for us, and this isn't to criticize any other New Japan podcasts, 'cause there's numerous ones out there, and I do frequent almost all of you. So if you're listening to me, I'm listening to you. And it's not to, like, for comparison, but it's because I love this product, so I'm consuming what other people are saying most of the time. It is also to see what people saying. Everybody has different flavors, different styles, and it's great. You know, it's great that there's so much being offered out there. But the one thing that like we bring to the table that I feel like maybe not all the other shows have is like, dude, our chemistry, like, you know, and me and Jeremy been like good friends for a long time, but it wasn't like we were like best friends when we started the show or anything.
I mean, I met you in 2014 at Rich's WrestleMania party, and like I didn't really even talk to you at that party. Like you kind of showed up late, and like I was like, who's this kid? And like,
yeah, I think 2014. Which one was that?
That was WrestleMania 30. Actually, I think was it 2014? Was it?
It was 2015.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania 31.
Yeah, I just left my brother's wedding, and yeah, I just shown up. But like I knew who you were from like the Facebook group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, with me, and even after that, because I'm a nomad, and I'm always,
right. You moved, and then you came back, and then it was like on after that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I didn't really know what to expect when we were gonna do a podcast or anything like that, and I've done a lot of like I'm very realistic about my abilities in certain aspects of life. You know, like if I go out and I like you guys probably don't even know this about me, but like I'm a musician, and like so if I go out and I play a show and it's not good, I can tell. You know what I mean? Like I know that sort of thing. You know, or you know if you do a job, it's like I'm very critical of the kind of work I do, and I'll come in and do Keepin It Strong Style, and there are times where I'm a little critical of what we do, but I would say for the vast majority of the time that we do this, like I leave the show feeling energized. I leave the show feeling like invigorated, like, and I'm always like impressed with the product that we put out there. And like I'm really putting us over. It's so crazy. Like we don't really do this on this show very often at all.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen to the show even times when I think the show wasn't good, and then I'll play it back and I realize like, oh, it's good. Like even it's just it's so crazy.
When we have people on our own network, they're like, "Hey, man, the show was really good this week," and like they don't have to say that, they don't have to put us over, but they'll be like, "I really enjoyed the show this week," and it's like, oh.
And I think the main reason is, like I said, the chemistry between us, but it's because we are dedicated to this. Like we're not gonna sit here and BS you guys. We're not gonna like I don't think at any point we've ever tried to get away with not actually watching the product and putting it over like we did,
right?
You know, or like just listening to reviews and stealing ideas or something like that. Like we are literally week in and week out consuming this crap. Jeremy's better about it than I am. I need more dedication, especially in 2019, but I'm watching it all. Like I really am. Yeah. And Jeremy really is too. Every time I come out here, he's got, freaking, Road 2 shows playing. And I think that's one thing that does set us apart is like, some of the other podcasts or things like that, even like Dave and them, they'll just kind of give you like some snaps of what happened, but did you watch it? No, I got to catch up.
Yeah.
But bro, we've watched everything all year long, everything.
Yeah, dude. Go back in the archives, every big show, every Road 2 show, every tournament.
Every Lionsgate project show.
From the smallest show to the biggest show, man, we covered them all.
Yeah, and I am very proud of what we put out there. I do see bigger things on the horizon for 2019. I do think that there is, if this thing never becomes anything huge and it's just, this little indie cult podcast, and we just end up being like, like early era ROH, sort of deal.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with that, but I think that there really are legs behind this, and we are trying to. It's not just this show either. We have made excellent strides as a network. That's another thing I'm thankful for is all the guys that contribute to the success of our network. Ricky and Clive over in Scotland, Rance, Carl, Kyle. Those guys over at Outsider Edge. I don't agree with a lot of the things they say on their podcast, but I appreciate those guys, and they are like I love them. They're my friends for real.
Yeah.
And
grown men watch this shit.
Bro, we would never have gotten a chance to meet Chris Bryan, and like I've got like a man crush on Chris Bryan. like we connect on that shoot style level, like me and him.
Yeah, and Jeremy Tate's like one of the funniest guys on the internet right now, man.
Jeremy Tate, like every time I'm looking at his stuff online, I'm like either hysterically laughing or I'm cringing. But his stuff's great. Their show is awesome, especially this last week's show. I really enjoyed it, and they add a lot of credibility to our network as well, and they really enjoy what they're doing also. And then obviously, you know, James and Rich are two of our best friends.
Yeah, One Nation Radio guys.
One Nation Radio. They've expanded to a second network this year. Outsiders Edge has expanded to a second network, and it's just grown what we all do.
And we've had a lot of people, you know, writing columns throughout the year. You know, Rich has done a lot of writing for us. Tom, Caleb.
Jordan Fox. Yeah, like we would have met Jordan Fox or like learned about his inspirational story if we hadn't done this show. And I do feel like in his life, this show has literally, and I'm not trying to take all the credit because he's a hard worker and he's the Jeff Jarrett of Social Suplex Podcasting Network. But, you know, who's to say whether he would have even gotten into the wrestling industry if this show didn't exist?
Right. I mean, he's a guy like hit me up like, dude, I found your show. I'm listening to every single episode. You know, I want to be involved with Social Suplex. You know, he started writing for us, and you know, then he got the opportunity to apply for a position at an actual wrestling promotion, and I wrote him a letter of recommendation just based off what he's done for us, and he got the job, and like now he's actually working in the business and like working for all these shows. He's trained to be a wrestler. So all from the start, all from a simple connection from Social Suplex and Keeping It Strong Style.
Yeah, it's so crazy. We got to hang out with him for an extended period of time, which I was really thankful for. We got to meet Floyd. Floyd's my dog.
Yeah.
He's a longtime listener of this show.
Yeah.
He puts us over all the time.
Yeah, he does.
He's probably hearing this as well.
Yeah.
And that was great, and I'm hoping to, you know, see those guys again soon. Maybe WrestleMania. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Floyd's definitely going to be at WrestleMania weekend. I've been keeping in touch with him. He definitely wants to meet up during that.
Maybe we can all. We'll work out the details. We'll work it out. But yeah, I mean that like those sorts of connections like wouldn't exist. Like, dude, I got like recognized WrestleMania weekend and got to meet Joe Lanza from Voice of Wrestling, which like I'm a freaking fanboy and mark for that dude. Like, which is so crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, we go to a lot of indie shows and just wearing our Social Suplex shirts, people are starting to be like, "Hey, you're Social Suplex. I think I've seen that or I've heard that," or like. Now it's the point we walk into indie shows and people like are saying hi to us all the time now.
Yeah, it really is like incredible. Yeah, when we were in Chicago, that photographer, I forget.
Oh yeah, Abby the Butcher.
Yeah, Abby the Butcher. He recognized us. He's like, "Let me get you boys some drinks."
Like,
yeah, like, yes, like that's my dog.
Shout out Abby, man.
And it's just crazy. Like, and when I try to explain this, I've tried to explain to people like what we do. I don't really put over our podcast too much. This is a pretty segmented part of my life, so it's not like I'm walking around telling people like, "Hey, check out the show, check out the show," you know? Because this is a niche product. But when I tell people, and like, then I'll like slowly but surely explain to them like, yeah, we have connections in the industry, and like but like that's such a weird thing to say like to me, because I'm just like a simple mark, bro.
Dude, I have a big time mark, and just the fact that I'm like friends with like local indie wrestlers is like crazy to me. Like I walk, like literally, you walk into like a FIP or Evolve, and like I'm slapping hands with like dozens of wrestlers that all know me by first name and are like,
or like Chris Charlton was like on our show, and I know we said that, but like he commentates for this product. Like he's written books about this product. He's like a respected authority, and like we didn't tell anybody this, but when we first started like the show, it was like a pipe dream to have him on the show. We were like, dude, we should try to reach out to Chris Charlton. Like, do you think he would do it? And we're like, I don't know. He's big time. And like having like someone like that on our show was like so cool. Like, and like when we were just talking before the podcast even started, I was like, I just want to sit here and like chat with him about like Inokiism. And like talk about like the Hase era. Like this is awesome.
You know, we've had, you know, Rocky Romero, Zack Sabre Jr., Juice Robinson, Scorpio Sky all do shout outs for our show.
How come we don't ever play the Chris Charlton one?
I forgot about that. I need to pull it up.
I keep wanting to remind you, like, why don't we ever play that? But like, I guess we just don't have it ready to go.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like pulling up like whatever's like the most recent file and trying to file through them, but I need to pull that up and save it on the desktop.
Yeah, and like, who did our artwork?
Oh yeah, man. Mike Ferg. Yeah, shout out to
Mike Ferg.
Shout out to Mike Ferg, man. He's done like the graphics for our logo and all the logos for the network for free of charge, man. And he does a quick turnaround. It's like, sure, I can do that. Bam, don't charge. And he's like, just give me a shout out, and I'm happy.
Anyone who's ever listened to our show, commented on any of our posts, reviewed our show, given us star ratings, anyone who's ever participated in any contest, the voting that we do each year, just like, thank you guys. Thank you for like making this possible, making it worthwhile. Like, you don't know what you contribute to us and our lives. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, this is like huge. Thank you all you guys so much.
And like, before we move on, like, I just want to say, like, I would say like probably, and I don't usually get into like personal stuff very often, but like probably like the last couple months have been definitely, I would say, personally difficult times. Definitely. And I'm not even like that open like Jeremy. Like, I'm not even open with Jeremy. I live with him. And there was like a time period. When was Kyle on the show?
Like 3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that.
Yeah, like just a month ago. Yeah, and I mean that was because there was like real like stuff. There's real stuff going on in my life. And I was literally, and I never talked to Jeremy about it because I hadn't like even decided. I was never gonna leave the show, but there was a point where I was like, dude, I might, like, I never even said this, but I was literally like, I might need to take like a break, take a hiatus, come back. And I was like, I don't even know how I would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was really like literally feeling like that's what I needed to do. And the fact that like New Japan is just so awesome, you know, and it like wrestling is wrestling, you know, like wrestling's wrestling, like your real life still exists, you know, it's not like we don't live in a fantasy world, but like this product is really freaking awesome. But beyond that, being like this show, there have been times where things in my life have been really, 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 really bad. And I know Jeremy like has gone through some like
I was about to say, dude, the last year has been crazy for me. Going through a divorce like right before this show started. I mean, I mentioned it on the show before, but yeah, going through a divorce. I mean, my grandfather passed away like I think like a week or two before we did the show, started doing this show. Like my grandfather was the one that got me into wrestling and was a huge wrestling fan. And I was like sad that he was never be able to hear the show. And so like going through all that, I mean, this show has been like literally one of the highlights of 2018 for me. Yeah, and like getting me through all that stuff. So
yeah, this. And I'm still going through difficult things in my life, and we probably always will be. You know, and Christmas time even is just like a difficult time for me personally. But this show does add, like, it really does benefit me in ways that I couldn't ever really express to other people, you know? And, yeah, like, just thank you guys for, you know, listening to the show and everything that goes on with it. Even if you don't always agree with everything we say, everything that we do, you don't understand how much it helps us, you know. And yeah, and New Japan's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
New Japan is freaking awesome.
We're gonna finish 2018 strong. 2019 is gonna be a great year. We have plenty of ideas in the works to expand Keeping It Strong Style and Social Suplex.
Give us money.
To make this thing bigger and badder.
We need money. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. I feel like I don't want to forget anything or like miss anything.
Right. I don't know. Is there anybody else that we need to give shout outs to?
No, screw them.
Screw them.
Be like, oh, you know what?
Mike from Pure Resu Road, man.
Actually, I was gonna say, yeah, like Mike from Pure Resu Road for, you know, putting us on his website. Like, that's so insane. Like, anyone else who's like ever contributed, like,
Amy, Phoenix NJPW on Twitter. Amy, yeah, she's becoming a great friend of the show.
We have someone else reviewing for us too.
We just did a podcast with him. Wilfred.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Wilfred watches.
Yeah, Wilfred, man.
What up, Wilfred? I heard some rumors. There might be a bidding war for Wilfred. He's a free agent out there.
What's he doing January 1st?
What are you doing January 1st, Wilfred?
Oh, man.
WWE's probably going to sign him.
Right.
Sign him to an NXT deal.
They're already blocking wrestlers from our network. You know, Ricky and Clive have been trying to interview NXT UK wrestlers. And
Really?
Yeah, and I think they've tried to interview like Noam Dar and a couple other guys, and they've declined them.
Really?
Only because I'm guessing, WWE doesn't want those guys getting, the exposure on Social Suplex.
Wow. But yeah, man. Seriously, thank you guys. This has been awesome, and I'm looking forward to big things in 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
My God.
All right. So speaking of,
Also, I'm going to Japan next year.
Over 2019 or 2020?
I'm going to the Tokyo Dome next year. Like I've
2020?
already made up my mind.
Dude,
Like,
I've been thinking the same thing, dude.
No, it's a done deal. Like I'm not going to WrestleMania next year. Like I'm going to the Tokyo Dome. Screw it. Like I also I don't know. Do you know about the deal? We might be able to get New Year's Dash tickets next year.
No.
We got to hook up.
Oh snap!
We got to hook up. So yeah, we're like I for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like I've been to Asia before, but never to Tokyo. Like going to Japan next year. Period.
Boom. Keeping It Strong Style. Live broadcast from Japan.
Keeping It Strong Style takes Tokyo.
Oh man. And also we want to give a shout out to everybody that's been voting in the second annual Keeping It Strong Style Year-End Awards. The voting's been popping. We've already surpassed last year's number of voters.
We surpassed it in the first day.
In the first day.
Yeah.
It took us a whole month or so to get to that number last year, and now we've blown that out in one day. It's continuing to grow. The voting's open for the next couple of weeks, so it's only going to get bigger.
If you guys are listening to this and you are a fan of the show and you want to help us as a 1 year anniversary gift, please share our post. Share if you're in a wrestling group on Facebook or Reddit or what other places are there?
Facebook, Twitter, anywhere.
Twitter. Tweet it out. Just help us get because I feel like we worked really, 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 really hard on those awards, and I feel like we have some of the coolest and most creative categories with really good nominations. I know that some of you who are probably listening because we've heard you on Reddit don't agree with some of the exclusions and all the choices, but and I hear you, I get that. But at the end of the day, we worked really hard on this, and I want to see these be prominent awards, and I already feel like they are.
Yeah, with our nominees, it's one of those things where we don't want to have 30 nominees for every category. We want it down to the nitty gritty. This is the best of the best.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe some of your favorites they were in contention for a lot of these awards. But
the thing is, with New Japan, everyone's great.
Right.
Anyone, you can make an argument most days that someone does or doesn't deserve a spot. For instance, Most Improved was one of the hardest ones. We cut mad people because everyone's always growing, improving. It's such a fluid company and different things like that. Just as an example, but last year it was cool. We got the Young Bucks to tweet out the fact that they won our awards.
Yeah, they liked the tweet and retweeted it or whatever.
That was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like this to be something that is sort of kind of somewhat recognized, and hopefully we can grow to a point where oh, who else I want to thank? Who was it that we met out at All In from the unofficial New Japan?
Oh,
US fan
yeah. What?
Esteban.
Yes, Esteban. Yeah.
And he listens to the show. Yeah, and shout out to Esteban. We need to connect with him and get more of his stuff out here.
Yeah, we should get him on the show sometime. But yeah, it's great meeting him.
But please vote. Share the voting. Help us grow this thing. You're a part of this community, and hopefully, that would be something awesome. We don't really ever ask you guys to do anything hardly. So if you get a chance, it takes 2 seconds, just share our freaking,
awards,
voting awards, because you guys can help us grow more than we can. We're limited, and especially me. Jeremy's way better at the. Oh, that's who I wanted to thank. Before we move on, I need to thank Jeremy for hosting this show with me, but also doing almost everything. Guys, if I was off for a week, the show would be fine. The show would be totally fine. Jeremy runs the sound, the audio, the editing, the freaking graphics, the actual posting of it, the marketing, the advertising. I'm the talent. I show up and I talk, and I act like entitled, like I own half this crap, but I really don't do half the crap, like, at all. And in the past, I used to even do all the news, and that's been last month. Nah. So Jeremy, like, yeah, I gotta thank Jeremy for like everything that he does, everything he contributes, and being the face of this podcast. And when I say the face, I mean literally the baby face.
But you know, every baby face needs a heel, and this show would not be the show without it's Jeremy and the young boy. Like, that is Keeping It Strong Style. Sure, you might miss a week and we might pull somebody in, but it's not the same. Like, you know, having Kyle on was cool.
That was one time.
I'm just saying, like, having Kyle on was cool, but at the end of the day, it's like this show is Jeremy and the young boy. Like, it's a tag team.
Absolutely. So what do we got next?
So any other comments on the year-end awards? Anything else you want to mention, or
share that crap?
Yeah,
share it.
And you know, Christmas Day will be the day that we'll announce the winners for all that.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that show because we can really focus, like, the people that win. We're not going to tell you guys who's winning or anything like that because I don't want to do anything that can manipulate the voting or anything like that. But there are some categories where I'm very surprised. Very surprised.
Dude, yeah.
Like, I thought some of this stuff was open and shut and locked up, but and some of it is, but there's some of it where I was like, really? And it's great because I love the idea that, like, there's such a one thing I will say though is that, like, last year it seemed like there was this kind of, like, I know we talk about westernization, but there was like this Western sort of.
It was like almost a lot of like Bullet Club, Young Bucks, like,
I don't want to say it that way, but it did seem like a lot of the voters swayed that way. Like, you could just tell by the types by who was. This year, it's like New Japan fans. Yeah. It's like people that, like, diehards are voting in this thing, and you can really tell based on. I mean, because there's certain guys that, like, unless you really follow the product, like, how are you going to know to vote for them or whatever? And, like, there's certain guys that, like, I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's been cool. Really, really, really cool. And it just feels like our listener base, not to say there's anything wrong with, if you're a fan of the Bullet Club, because I know Jeremy is, and I am, but I'm wearing a Bullet Club shirt right now. Although I think the Bullet Club that I'm representing these days is Jay White's Bullet Club. You got to breathe with the switchblade.
Not just a version of the Bullet Club, the Bullet Club.
But yeah, no, man, like, but yeah, it's so cool to kind of feel like maybe we have this little corner of influence within, like, New Japan fandom, like, which is so weird but cool all at the same time.
I'm just waiting for the day that Kevin Kelly mentions us on commentary.
I would love that. We got to get him on here. You know, he'll do it too. Like, if we ask him. So like, it's hard though because so many weeks. Like, there's so much
stuff to actually cover. It's kind of But all right, now we're gonna jump into questions this week.
Oh God, I should have looked at this before we started. Like, I know you said them to me, but I was not paying attention. So, like, I don't have any. My answers are not ready to go.
Yeah, and normally we try to, like, pepper the questions in what we're talking about, but none of the questions related to anything about World Tag League at all.
You guys are not You guys are not watching the Tag League. You're depending on me and Jeremy to watch it, so you can just, like, listen in and get, like, the recap.
Yeah. But so yeah, we're gonna run through these questions real quick. At Sir Samuel on Twitter, he asked, "How does Chris Jericho fit into NJPW in 2019?"
I don't know. I don't like to talk about Chris Jericho on this show.
Oh my gosh.
If there's anything I've had bad takes on all year long, it's my Chris Jericho predictions. I suck at it. Like, I don't ever know what this dude's doing. Like, I don't even want to jinx it because I'm going to tell you right now what he's going to do, and it's going to be completely inaccurate.
Right. I mean, obviously there's no exact way to predict what Jericho is going to be doing because he works so hard for it to be unpredictable. But I have a feeling he sticks around in New Japan next year, and I think maybe we'll finally get maybe a Jericho Okada, maybe a Jericho Tanahashi match. at some point next year.
That's what I would say. I think Jericho will continue to do cool and interesting things in big matches. He, had a very successful cruise this past year. He loves touring with Fozzy. Sure, he could do stuff with WWE, and he might. I don't know. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Bro, and with the AEW stuff,
right?
Who knows what kind of money Vince might just decide to throw at him? You know what I mean?
Time to come home, pal.
Yeah, they might tell him it's time to. Goddamn, Val. They might tell him, but with that being the case, Jericho probably is afforded so much freedom, so much creativity, so much money that I think he'll be here in New Japan in 2019. I will say this, though. I think that we are going to see a different version of Chris Jericho. If I can make one prediction, we will not be seeing Alice Cooper, Chris Jericho much longer.
Yeah.
That Chris Jericho with the masks and the fedora and the black
paint.
Face paint,
Yeah.
That's a very anti-LIJ sort of persona that he's taken on. I don't anticipate that will be what he would do in the future going forward. But I think you're right, Jeremy. I think he really, really wants to work with Tanahashi and Okada. I could even see him possibly working with, say, Minoru Suzuki or Jay White if he were to turn face. Those are possibilities.
Right.
Real possibilities. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't expect him to be here very active, but, I mean, we got big shows. We got Dominion. We got the MSG card. I'm sure he would love to continue to forge the relationship he has with them and Ring of Honor and all that. So I would be surprised if Chris Jericho completely bows out, but, maybe we'll see him 2 or 3 times this year.
Yeah. Then Reddit user Muzza _44, he says, name 3 juniors you think would benefit from going up to heavyweight and 3 heavyweights who would benefit by going down to junior heavyweight.
Okay.
So three juniors that can go.
We don't both need to do it because, I mean, if you name 3 and I name 3, and there's a good chance they're going to be
the same,
similar picks.
Right.
So
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay is clearly someone who could definitely benefit from going up to heavyweight. I'm going to say number 2, probably Shingo Takagi.
Yeah.
I mean, he pretty much is a heavyweight, so... and if you had to pick a number 3, I mean, there are quite a few guys you could potentially pick.
It'd be a toss-up between Kushida and Hiromu.
Ooh. I was even thinking Marty.
Oh, yeah.
Or Sho.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, let's make it the official Keepin It Strong Style 3 picks. I'm going to say Kushida.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but Hiromu.
I mean, Kushida's been in the division longer, though.
But Hiromu's ready.
Yeah.
They're both ready, but Hiromu's ready.
Hiromu's a superstar.
Yeah, he's a superstar, but so is Shingo. But Kushida, I would love to see him go up. I don't know. What do you want to pick Hiromu? Or you want to pick Kushida? Or you want to say Shingo needs to stay down at junior for a while?
Nah, man. That man's jacked, man.
Jacked.
He's huge.
He's jacked.
Vascular.
Just look at him.
I'm gonna go Kushida.
I agree, Kushida. He's been here for a long time. He's had a ton of reigns. He's ready.
Let's do it.
You know who my first pick is gonna be?
Ishii.
Tomohiro Ishii, baby. Yeah, I would love to see Tomohiro Ishii go down to junior. Who else is at heavyweight that could really afford to do that? I mean, I don't know if it would benefit him, but one guy I could think of who has the frame for it, Zack Sabre Jr. Although, to be honest, I don't know if it would benefit Zack or Ishii, but those are 2 guys who could do it.
Who could do it, yeah. Chase Owens, if he cut weight.
He was a junior.
I know he was a junior.
Yeah.
He moved up, but I mean...
If he got in shape.
Yeah, if he got in shape,
If he got in fighting shape.
Yeah, and he could be the killer of a junior division.
I would love that. Yeah, that's a great pick. Yep. So Chase, Ishii, and ZSJ.
Yeah.
And you know what? That would actually maybe not benefit them so much, but it would really benefit the junior division to have guys be willing to cut weight to try and make it there for the prestige of the title.
Well, Tongaloa, he said he he wishes he could, cut weight.
That's a good question, though. I like it.
Then our boy Maserati, he says, you and the young boy are wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who do you draft for the Keeping It Strong Style faction? It can be any currently active wrestler in New Japan this year, even part-timers like Jericho.
What kind of faction will we have?
That's a good question. Are we going to be overall faces, heels, a little mix of both?
Well, you guys probably don't know this, but Jeremy's got a background in amateur wrestling. When he used to wrestle, they call him the Shooter.
So and we are strong style, so I think we would need a strong style / shooter.
And I've got a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, we need
fighting. I think we need an Inokiism group. That's what we need.
Man, I feel like we would need Zack Sabre Jr.
All right, let's to do this really, really quick. How many guys would be in our faction? Let's keep it tight. Let's keep a tight faction.
Okay, so it's us two. You want to bring in
LIJ? How many guys are in LIJ? 5?
Is it 5 or is it 6?
2 heavyweights, 2 juniors, and Naito. Is that right?
Naito, Evil, Sonata, Bushi, Hiromu, Shingo.
Oh, there's 6 now.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, that's right. There's 3 juniors. My bad. Okay. Let's keep it at 6.
All right. So we're bringing
us too. So we're bringing in 4 guys. And I say we bring in freaking shooters.
Yes.
Yeah. So you pick your first one. Who we taking?
I want Sabre.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna bring in freaking Suzuki. So us two, Suzuki, Sabre. This is
Ishii.
Right. You're bringing Ishii?
Yeah.
All right, I'm bringing in Kushida.
Bro, that's the stable, right?
That's the stable.
Keeping it strong style stable.
The Inokiism stable.
Hey, somebody in the Muslim in the Reddit joke, it's you should just draft all the Reddit users.
Oh yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, people started taking roles and
Jar Pina said he'd be the underused guy or something
I'd be the Jay White.
Turn on all of us.
Yeah.
Oh man. Then Reddit user IV5277, he says, what is something you miss that New Japan used to do?
Interesting question. What is something that New Japan used to do that you miss?
Well, I do. I don't know how often they did it, but the streamers.
That's never been a New Japan thing.
Never been a New Japan thing. What about the flowers? Was that a New Japan thing?
Yes. Yeah, they use. You know what? That was going to be one of my answers. Was the pageantry of championship title matches back in the day. I really missed that. And the flowers were part of that.
Yeah.
Although they did it a lot in the 70s and 80s more so than later on. But dude, I miss those big freaking Inoki would have matches where they he would win a match and they'd bring him out 4 trophies and you'd be like, why did you win? Why did you win these life size, literally human sized trophies with streamers all over and flowers and garlands put around them? It was kind of ridiculous, but I kind of liked that. It felt special, and you compare that to the trophies that guys get nowadays. You win a Best Super Juniors and your freaking trophy breaks.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. They do it most of the time, but so I shouldn't say I miss it because they do it, but they don't do it consistently. The championship video. There are times when they don't do it, and I think they should never skip it.
Dude, I think they should do it for all the belts. I know they did. They did it one time for Hiromu for the junior title, but they should do it for the junior title, do it for the tag titles. Yeah, Parade of Champions for all the belts.
Is there anything else I could say that I missed that I liked back before Bushiroad took over for the Tokyo Dome shows? Matches used to have weird names, they would title matches with weird titles. They actually did it this year for the Kota
Handsome
Bushi.
Battle.
Handsome Battle. But they used to do that a lot. For big Tokyo Dome matches, matches would have specific titles that were weird as crap, and I never knew what they meant, but I loved that. That's one thing I miss. How about multiple dome shows a year?
Oh, I didn't realize that there were multiple New Japan dome shows.
Absolutely, yeah. It almost put them out of business. But yeah, like that's something I miss. Multiple dome shows in a year, and I'm not saying they need to run the Tokyo Dome, but like, let's run the like freaking Osaka Dome, or like one of these like where Dominion is, or Fukuoka Dome. Like that would be freaking cool.
Well, if the way attendance has been going, they might have to start doing that.
Yeah. Business has been up. Like, I think that they could definitely, at some point in the future, get away with doing. I think they could do Dominion in a dome.
Yeah.
I think that's the next step.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Reddit user Problem Penis.
What's so problematic about it?
I think he might need some Blue Chew.
Some Blue Chew. And now we want to take a moment and tell you about our good friends over at Blue Chew.
That was another thing that was funny this year, the impromptu.
You thought those strikes from Kota Ibushi were hard.
Wait till you get your dose of Blue Chew. Oh my gosh. But he asks, he says, sorry if it's been asked before, what big events do you predict to happen at New Year's Dash? And I think we did get this question like a week or 2 weeks ago. But I think we were like, it's so hard to...
Not a good fantasy booker, bro.
Because literally New Japan Dash, it's so wild. Like, there's so many angles like that happen that it's hard to predict. Like, I would have never predicted like Kenny trying to get Jay White to join the Bullet Club. That was New Year's Dash when Jay White tried to join the Bullet Club, when Kenny tried to get...
Yeah, that was when he tried... Yeah, and Jay White turned on him and joined Chaos.
Right. Or Jericho attacking Naito. Like, I never saw that coming. The year before when...
AJ Styles got one-winged angel and kicked out of the Bullet Club by Kenny Omega.
When Suzuki-gun came back and like destroyed everybody.
Oh, that was... Yeah, the one I just mentioned was 2 years. That wasn't even the same year. Yeah, last year Suzuki-gun showed up, like returned from Noah, and they like destroyed Chaos. It's really hard to predict this sort of stuff. It really, and that's the great thing about New Year's Dash. You never know what it's gonna be. It's really cool. So I don't have like a prediction, but I don't know. I mean, like I'll make a prediction. Okay, here's gonna be my prediction. My prediction is Katsuya Kitamura returns from injury and freaking destroys Kenny Omega.
Ooh.
And challenges him to the for a title shot, New Beginning. It's probably never gonna happen. Shows up, hits him with the spear, jackhammer, and challenges him to a title shot.
Dude, that sounds good, but
give me an off the wall prediction, something crazy.
Kawato returns from excursion and beats Kushida for the belt.
Bro, he's not gonna wait at New Year's Dash. He's gonna show up and get a title shot at New Year's Dash.
Yeah.
How would he get a title shot at New Year's Dash?
Kushida comes out, open challenge.
Oh, that's never gonna happen. Mine's way more likely.
You said off the wall.
Oh man, but yeah, just to be true, we have no clue what's gonna happen New Year's Dash. Like,
next question comes from Jar of Peanuts. He said, if you could bring in one wrestler for each faction to serve as their new jobber, who would it be?
A lot of faction questions today.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's wrong with the jobbers they got right now? Oh my God, there's 6 factions, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got Chaos, Bullet Club Elite, Bullet Club OG, LIJ, Gucci Gun, Gucci Japan.
I don't even think I can answer that question. Like, there's so many people. I don't even know who's on the roster. Like, my mind is so muddled right now.
But I'm feeling like he's saying, could you bring in? I think he means like an outside of New Japan wrestler into one of these factions to be the new job.
He didn't say that. He just said bring in one wrestler for each faction. So it could be hypothetically based on what you're saying. It could be New Japan or outside.
Yeah.
But I mean, why would I want to bring in someone to be a jobber? Like, the jobbers are fine. I don't understand.
The jobbers are fine.
The jobbers are fine. It's okay. Everything's okay. Unless, like, you're just looking to, I don't know, elevate the jobbers that are there.
Right.
Like, I'm just thinking, like, the people that are probably...
So let's go by the fact of who the jobbers are. So Suzuki-gun, who are the jobbers? Iska.
I guess Iska and Kanemaru.
Yeah.
Mainly. Taka.
Yeah.
They got jobbers. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, like, I don't know who... Like, none of those guys really need to be elevated.
What's the benefit? Like, bringing in someone else... I mean... I guess if you brought in a young lion or something like that, I just this question's too hard. Jar of peanuts. Man, usually I love your questions, but I don't think I can do this one this week. I gotta move on.
All right,
my bad. I can't do that one.
Mr. ACP says, looking ahead to next year, what do you think Kojima's chances are for a G1 spot? In your opinion, does he deserve a chance for a final appearance in the tournament, a la Nagata from last year?
Absolutely. I was actually anticipating him getting his like swan song this past year, and then obviously he tore his ACL.
Yep.
So I think that it's I think it would have definitely happened this year. That was what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in the A block. Because they would have murdered him. He would have got killed in that B block. He would have got murdered. We wouldn't have a Kojima to talk about this year. Like, my God.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I think he'll definitely be in it. Well, I think it's less likely this year than it would have been last year, just given the fact of the injury and all that. But I still think it's a high likelihood, and I hope that they do that because we got that with Nagata last year, and we got it with Tenzan, I think, the year before that.
Right, Kojima gave his spot up to Tenzan, right?
Yeah. So, and Kojima's been looking really, really good during this tag league, and he's looked good since he got back. So, yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Like, I hope that happens.
Well,
it'll be super, bro. We'll have to, like, create some sort of content for the show where, like, I, like, tape Jeremy during
every Kojima match
during the Kojima matches to see his responses. Like, Kojima's gonna get that one consolation win over like Bad Luck Fale, and like I swear to God this man's gonna be crying over it.
Oh man, but of course Kojima needs to be in the G1 next year. It's gonna be tough because I mean there are a lot of guys that
that's the only thing I was thinking. Like,
who do you take out to put Kojima in?
This year would have been easier. But now, like, the roster feels like it's expanding. There's guys getting better. He's obviously deteriorating, and that's not a criticism on him. But every year that he's not in that final year is another year removed from like his prime. So it's harder to have a good G1. And who knows? Maybe he'll just keep being in G1. So like maybe he's not ready to be done. I don't know. But it's less likely than this year than it would have been last year. But they'll probably end up doing.
For me, I would give Yoshihashi the boot for Kojima.
Makabe?
Yeah, Makabe.
I don't know.
Toru Yano?
No. Yano's like a highlight of the G1. Come on now. Oh, man. And then I think we got one last question.
Yeah, from John Edward in the Wrestling Squared Circle. He says with the rumor or maybe even official announcement, I'm not sure, of PCO signing with Ring of Honor, which New Japan guy would you put him against at G1 Supercard?
Tomohiro Ishii. Run it.
Yes.
Run it.
Ishii or Suzuki?
No. That doesn't sound good to me at all.
Suzuki and PCO?
Suzuki tying up PCO for like a 12-minute match. Like,
I don't think it'll be tight. It could be just a striking battle.
It could be, but I feel like he'll just like... You're right. He could do that. He could do that.
But Ishii, I mean, it's another...
Oh, my God. Him and Ishii would freaking kill... Bro, they'd kill each other.
Yeah. I want Ishii to go against the other new Ring of Honor signee, Brody King.
Yeah, Brody Lee is what's-his-face from...
Luke Harper, yeah.
Is Luke Harper,
But Brody King. I think Ishii...
I would love to see Luke Harper and
Ishii. Too, yeah, that too.
That'd be stellar.
But Brody King and Ishii, dude.
PCO, man. I am... Yes, and just John Edward, just so you know, it's not a rumor. It's official. It's an official thing.
He's pulled out of... And both of them have pulled out of their MLW dates. They pulled out all their indie dates, not allowed to finish up. And rumors they're going to be appearing at Final Battle.
Yeah, which I'm very excited about Final Battle. It's been a long time since I've been excited, like actually truly excited about a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. And Final Battle looks like fire.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that'll be my pick. Is Tomohiro Ishii. Is there anyone else that you could think of that like you're like, dude, he should freaking like who can he have like that like killer PCO match with?
I'm trying to think.
In New Japan.
I'm trying to think of somebody that's like a strong style wrestler.
It doesn't have to be strong style. I did think about like, what if him and Kota Ibushi wrestled?
Oh my gosh. Both of them would be moonsaulting. Maybe Goto if he's motivated.
I thought about Goto too. That could be really, really good. That actually could be really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Goto's crazy, dude. And like PCO's freaking nuts. I'm scared a little bit for PCO. Like,
what about Evil?
Nah, I'm not feeling that personally. But yeah, no. I mean, Ishii's my 1A, and then maybe
Ishii,
maybe Ibushi.
Yeah.
Although, like, I'm sure people want Ibushi to do other stuff at that show.
Right.
But man, PCO wrestling in New Japan, like that'd be really freaking cool.
Dude, that'd be wild. What about PCO and Elgin?
That was another one I was thinking of, but I forgot. Yeah, that could be good. That could actually probably be really good. Yeah, it'd probably be really good.
All right, so next up, we're gonna name our wrestler of the month for November and the match of the month for November. Before we do, let's run down the previous year's wrestlers of the month and match of the month.
Yeah, so we started this going back to December. So December of 2017, the match of the month was Yagi versus Narita from the Young Lions project, I think 11. January's match of the month was Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom. February's match of the month was Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi. The March match of the month, the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks from Long Beach. The April match of the month, Will Ospreay versus Marty Scurll from Sakura Genesis. The May match of the month, Kazuchika Okada versus Hiroshi Tanahashi from Wrestling Dantaku. June match of the month, it could only be one, Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega, the 2 out of 3 falls match from Dominion. July's match of the month, Kota Ibushi versus Tomohiro Ishii in the death match from the G1 Climax. The August match of the month was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kota Ibushi from the G1 Finals. September match of the month, Kazuchika Okada versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Which event was that at? King of Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Was that King of Pro Wrestling?
Wait. No.
Destruction.
Destruction in Kobe?
Yeah, I think it was Destruction Kobe, or one of those Destruction Tour shows. The October match of the month, Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi versus Cody from King of Pro Wrestling. Triple threat match for the IWGP title. And then the November match of the month, your match of the month for this month, Tomohiro Ishii versus Minoru Suzuki from Power Struggle.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that match was just... I mean, anytime Suzuki and Ishii get in the ring, it's magic. And at Power Struggle, it was no different. These guys went out there, strong style brawl, and just tore each other up. And it was awesome.
It was really, really, really awesome. I personally preferred the Naito and Will Ospreay match. Or I'm sorry, Naito and Zack Sabre Jr. match. But Jeremy liked the Suzuki and Ishii match. And if I am honest, I'm probably a little biased in general. The other thing, too, is almost universally, every single match rater and reviewer is telling me that Ishii and Suzuki's a better match. So that I'm going to chalk that one up to being one of those just weird Joshisms where I just happen to like a match for some weird reason. I don't even know why. Yeah. But I
mean, it was a great match. But...
It was. That was our runner-up, and then there was obviously Jericho and Evil was very good, and that was a good card, and there was several great tag league matches that happened in the month of November, but Ishii and Suzuki, for its violence, stands head and shoulders above the rest of them, and that's our match of the month. And that's a full year. From December of last year to November, we have a full year of match of the months, which is awesome.
Yeah, and same thing for Wrestler of the Month. So December 2017, it was Evil and Sonata were the wrestlers of the month. January, it was Minoru Suzuki. February, it was Will Ospreay. March, it was Zack Sabre Jr. April, it was Will Ospreay. May, it was Hiromu Takahashi. June, it was Hiromu Takahashi. July was Tomohiro Ishii. August was Kota Ibushi. September was Kenny Omega. October was Shingo Takagi. And this month, November, once again, Zack Sabre Jr.
Pro Wrestling Master.
Yes.
Submission Master.
Come on over here.
Just tap out. Zack Sabre
Jr.
Hello. This is Zack Sabre Jr., New Japan Cup winner 2018. You're listening to Keepin' It Strong Style with my mates.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. So Zack is only the second guy in this calendar month to win our match of the month. Will Ospreay did it twice this year. Hiromu did it twice, and Zack is the only other one who's done it twice, which is quite an accomplishment. And we picked him in November for a variety of reasons. Well, he had, starting out at Power Struggle, he had that banger with Naito. And then throughout the rest of the month, I have a list of recommended matches from this tag league. And there's, let me see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11. 5 of them are matches involving Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. There's probably some of you wondering why Taichi is not included in this, because we've shown precedent in the past where a tag team can win.
Right, Evil and Sonata.
Evil and Sonata did it in December of last year. And I felt like the reason why we selected Zack was because of his individual dominance when it came to these tag matches.
Yeah. Pretty much in every match, Sabre is the guy that's doing like a lot of the work and having the better part of the matches, and a lot of his interactions with the guys that are going against, interactions with Ishii, with Evil and Sonata and Suzuki. Like Zack is the one that's really standing out.
And it's not to take anything away from Taichi or the combination of Zack Sabre and Taichi, because we kind of treated this as like 2 nominations, like one for Zack alone and one for Zack and Taichi. And we did that with several other tag teams too, like Yano and Ishii. There's been multiple tag teams that have had really good runs, but where Zack kind of differentiated himself this month is like stopping guys. I mean, like literally stopping people.
Right.
Like he's like
he tapped out and passed out Ishii all in the same month, right?
He passed him out. I don't think he tapped him out.
Gotcha.
He also stopped Nakanishi, which like very rarely happens. I mean, he tapped him out. He pinned Isuka. He's pinned a bunch of guys, and like he's picking up almost all the wins. Plus,
beat Evil again.
Yeah, plus he beat Evil again, and he's just looked fantastic throughout all these matches. And I mean, like we had to go with Zack. I mean, like he's been the man on this tour.
Yeah, dude.
The standout guy. Like he is the MVP of this tour right now.
Yeah. And looking forward to doing another year's worth of Wrestler of the Month and Match of the Month for 2019.
Absolutely.
Well, we still got one more to pick for this year, for December of this year. So speaking of World Tag League, we're going to move on to our World Tag League update. And I have the rankings here. These are as of the show that happened on Sunday morning. So I know that there was a show that has already aired today on Monday. But
it hasn't aired.
It has happened, but it will air.
It occurred. It'll probably air like tomorrow or the next day.
Right. So we're not going to include that in today's update. So this is what I have. A 3-way tie for first place with 7 wins, 2 losses. Guerrillas of Destiny, Evil and Sonata, Tomohiro Ishii, and Toru Yano, all with 14 points. Then tied with 12 points with 6 wins, 3 losses, Killer Elite Squad and Finjuice. Then we have a 3-way tie with 10 points, 5 wins, 4 losses, a Super Strong Team, Best Friends, and Zack Sabre and Taichi. Then we have a tie with 8 points, 4 wins, 5 losses with Makabe and Hanare, and Suzuki and Isuka. Then there's another tie with 6 points, 3 wins, 6 losses. Hangman Page and Yujiro Takahashi and Tenkozy. And then at 2 points with 1 win, 8 losses, Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. And then with a big goose egg, 0 points, 0 wins, 9 losses, Ayato Yoshida and Shota Umino.
So as it stands right now, the teams of Ayato Yoshida, Shota Umino, Yuji Nagata, Manabu Nakanishi, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan, Satoshi Kojima, and Hangman Page and Yujiro Takahashi are all mathematically eliminated. There are 4 more matches remaining, which means they could each get, if they won all of their remaining matches, 8 more points. The teams that have the 6 points, Hangman Page and Yujiro, being at 6 points, if they were to gain another 8, that'd put them, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
yeah.
Which is where the other teams that are at the top already sit right now. So all 3 of those teams would need to lose.
Literally lose all the remaining of their matches.
And I think mathematically, if you do the numbers, some of these other 12-point teams are going to surpass that. So it's impossible at this point that those teams win. And most likely... what's wrong with me? The Suzuki-gun team of Minoru Suzuki and Takashi Iizuka, and then Togi Makabe and Toa Hanare, both being at 8 points. They're at the cusp of, they're not winning at this point. They're most likely eliminated. The only teams that really still sit in serious contention of any sort are Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, Best Friends, Michael Elgin and Jeff Cobb, Finn Juice, Killer Elite Squad, Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano, Evil and Sonata, and then GOD. So we've essentially eliminated at this point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 14 teams.
So almost half the field gone.
At this point, yes.
Yeah. So
and these teams with 10 points, Zach and Taichi, Best Friends, and Super Strong Team, they have an uphill battle. Like it's mathematically, it's very difficult for them.
Especially Best Friends. Let's talk about them for a second. So we've had the angles this weekend where Chucky T has turned. He kind of snapped and kind of went crazy in the match. And who was the first team that he snapped on? Was it Makabe and Hanare?
It was Makabe and Hanare.
Yeah, he totally snaps. He's throwing these guys into the barricade. He's hitting them with chairs. They lose by disqualification. He pushes down Beretta and is totally...
He punched him.
Yeah, he punched him, yeah.
Yeah, Beretta looked like his heart was broken. He was like, "What's wrong with you, man?"
Right. And in the backstage interviews, he refused to say anything.
I didn't watch the backstage interviews. I've been playing so much catch up on this tag league.
I only saw that one because I was curious to see what he would say, but he didn't say anything. And then the next night he came back perfectly fine, didn't snap, but he had that.
That's not true. He was not perfectly fine.
He had the weird look in his face.
He had the weird look in his face, and then when Best Friends got up on the apron to do their the thing they do where they hold the hands and they both get introduced. Dustin looked all geeked out, like he was like a meth head or something. His hand was shaking and he was just jiving, and freaking Beretta, Greg was just looking at him like, "What is wrong with you, dude? Are you on coke? That's what Chuck E. T's Coke T or something. He's all geeked up, he's crazy." But then during that match, so that night they faced Minoru Suzuki and Iizuka, and while Suzuki and Trent Beretta were out in the crowd brawling, Chucky T did that really slick roll up that he always does that never works, but this time it just worked because Iizuka sucks. And Chucky T looked so happy and so relieved, and Beretta and Suzuki came back and they looked very confused, like we won.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because it's that never happens where two guys are off in the crowd brawling and then the match ends with someone else getting pinned. It's just not like a regular trope of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right.
So they looked surprised. I felt like we were supposed to feel surprised too. Like, oh, that's where the match came to an end. But like, it was kind of cool because it was subtle, because he had the big freak out the day before. Then the next day he gets the pinfall, so you kind of like lower your guard down. It's like a bad boyfriend who like, you know, he like stole your car, stole your money or something like that. But then like the next day he does something nice for you, so you kind of think like,
oh yeah, he's turning around.
He's turning around.
He's a good guy after all.
Yeah, and then like, but then the next day,
he snaps again.
Yeah.
And so that was, which match was that? He snapped again.
It was against Super Strong Team.
Yeah.
Elgin and Jeff Cobb. Which, by the way, last year's tournament, Elgin and Cobb against Best Friends was by far the match of the tournament. 4.5 stars. Highly, highly recommend it. I still to this day think throughout this whole past calendar year, it's one of the top 5 tag matches you will see in the whole promotion.
Yeah, it was a great tag match, and I was hoping for the same here. It was good until
it was so good
until we got to the point where
it wasn't as good as last year,
right?
But it was really good. And then suddenly, like Chucky T freaked out,
snapped again. He attacked Elgin.
Dude, he threw a freaking chair at his head,
yeah.
like literally out of nowhere, like
trying to get that man CTE.
Yeah, and he did the same thing to Jeff Cobb. Like he was just losing his mind, and then he almost hit Beretta again, but then like stopped himself and then hugged him, and like Beretta just looked really confused the whole time. So like,
I mean, with the way they're going, who knows if they'll get any more points in this thing.
I feel about this storyline the way I feel about the whole tag league. In some ways, I'm so impressed, and in some ways, I'm very torn because I'm like I have problems with it too. So let's talk about. I mean, like, what are your impressions like
overall?
Or just in general.
Yeah, in general, I mean, this tag is much better than this tag team.
I mean, this story though.
Oh, with the best friend story. Yeah. I think it's interesting putting an angle in the middle of the tour, because typically this is a tour where not a lot happens. Yep. There's not a huge amount of developments, really hot angles, and now we're getting this hot angle. I mean, I don't think anybody called there being a best friends breakup or tease of a breakup.
No.
Or this kind of angle. And this is a very interesting angle that makes you want to pay attention because, best friends, I mean, they're a team in New Japan. They're a team in Ring of Honor. They're a team in PWG.
They've been teaming for years.
They literally are best friends. And so having this breakup come out of nowhere.
It's a work.
Having this breakup come out of nowhere, it's like nobody saw this coming. So now you're intrigued. Like, is Chucky T gonna keep snapping every match? Like, is he gonna try and hold together for the rest of the tour? Like, or is this gonna be a clean break? Like, are we gonna get a Chucky T and Beretta match?
Lots of emotions, lots of thoughts. So I mean, I think it's brilliant to do something like this in the middle of the tag league, because you don't see it kind of coming at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter too that are surprised. They're like, wow, they're doing angles in the tag league. Like, I have to actually watch this thing now.
Very surprising.
Yeah.
On the other end, I don't know how many people are actually watching the tag league, and I know that in New Japan this is not necessarily like the most established tag team, but in pro wrestlingdom, it's a very established tag team. And so I don't know where this storyline is leading. And if it, like, hypothetically, if it led to an actual breakup, is it just relegated to New Japan kayfabe? Is it going to expand outside of New Japan? For instance, these guys actually, had a feud in PWG this past year. And I think what we're getting with Dustin right now is a little bit of that PWG Chucky T flavor right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and also probably some Chikara as well.
Well, Ring of Honor and New Japan are so tied together. Like, their kayfabes kind of blend together.
Yeah.
So it would be hard for me to believe that they would do a breakup in New Japan and then show up together in Ring of Honor.
They do tons of revenue. They are very popular. They're like one of the only like really popular acts in Ring of Honor. So I am kind of wondering if this is, but maybe it's a way for them to potentially push Dustin. I keep calling them real names.
Chucky.
No.
Or Greg, or
I'm sorry.
Beretta,
yeah, because, it's no secret they wanted to move him up, and, they see big things for him. The other question, though, is So I think it's questionable to do like a breakup angle on this stage if they're really gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is like, you know, there's been a lot of speculation about this whole storyline with a mole being in Chaos and someone actually being part of the Bullet Club, you know, with Jay White and those guys. And I think that this is supposed to be like a tease or an allusion to that sort of thing. I mean, what do you think as far as that goes?
I mean, it's quite possible that Chucky T could be the mole. I mean, he's technically like, he's in Chaos because of Beretta. Like, he wouldn't be in Chaos any other reason. So he could, it could make sense for him to be like the outside guy.
I think him and Kazu are destined for one another. They're the real best friends. So he was always going to end up in Chaos. It has nothing to do with Trent. Trent's lucky he's friends with Chucky T.
And you know that one time on commentary during the, was it Super Junior Tag Tournament? One of the tours recently when Chucky T was on commentary, he was like, I'm tired of, you know, getting beat up by these Bullet Club guys.
Ooh. If you can't beat them, join them, right?
Right.
Okay, so here's one of the things. I keep feeling I have a lot of mixed emotions about this tag league. And I feel like Chucky T kind of embodies that because he's really playing a good character. Like, this whole character shift, and like, he's coming off as a crazy person for real. And I am wondering if maybe this will be like a facet of a character change for him going forward as well. The only thing is, it seems a little too obvious for New Japan's like storytelling to have a guy just change so blatantly like that. And it seems like it's more likely for them to turn around and be like, no, he wasn't the mole. And it'd be someone like Rocky Romero or, you know, Trent or something like that. The only thing is like, this guy is playing this, even though he's doing a great job talking about Chucky T, he's playing the character so over the top that there's no deniability if he's not like actually a mole or something like that to turn around and be like, oh, he was fine the whole time. Because he's going full on crazy.
Yeah, he's snapping.
He is snapping. And you can't turn around and be like, oh, like he wasn't actually snapping because he's like committed to it already.
Right.
I mean, you could, but that's not really good storytelling if you go that way afterwards. Like, because of how heavily invested he is into the character already, it's like, but it seems too telegraphed. So it's like, is that New Japan's style where they're just going to go with this because they've already started it, or? You know, and maybe it comes down to him as a performer. Like, maybe he should be playing this a little more nuanced. Because it's not nuanced. Like, sure, there's mystery. We don't know what's going on with him. But, I mean, like...
It's a full-out, this guy's lost his mind.
Like, he's like, shaking and, like, he's acting like a crazy
He's got
person.
that blank look on his face. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like Tropic Thunder, you know. You never go full. So like, he's gone full crazy, and like, once you go full crazy, I mean, how can you can't turn around and be like, oh no, I was kayfabing you, brother. Like, nah, like he's gone full he's gone full in. So I'm wondering like where this is gonna lead. The other thing too, before we move on, I hope it does lead to something of some sort of substance, because they've had a bad habit this year of doing incredible angles in New Japan Pro Wrestling with no real payoff to these incredible angles, and them not leading to things. And I'm hoping in 2019 that they continue to have great storytelling where they set things up and it actually delivers. And in the past, they normally do. Last thing, I don't want to see them break up. They're too good together.
Yeah,
they're too good together. It's like a couple that like belongs together, and like they shouldn't be. I mean, when we say like the team might break up, it's like a real breakup. Like,
yeah, dude, that's gonna be sad if they.
Bro, that would be sad if they break up. Like, these kids need to figure it out. Like, like we all can see it. They belong together.
Dude,
but like,
somebody call Dr. Shelby on the phone.
Someone needs to call Dr. Shelby, get them into like anger management.
Yeah.
Figure this crap out, because like they're one of the best tag teams in the world today. Like, it would suck if they break up.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know what. I mean, I guess they could. Maybe this is just the way that they try to elevate these two guys to take them in new directions. So, I mean, it's not like Ring of Honor is the big company here. This is the big company, and this is where they're forging their like legacy. So I don't see them going to NXT or anything like that. So maybe those AEW guys want to pick them up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, compelling stuff, man. Compelling.
Yeah, and you know, we mentioned that he snapped on Super Strong Team, but Super Strong Team, I mean, they've been on a winning streak towards these last few days of the tournament.
Yeah, they won like 4 in a row.
Yeah, and one of those wins was against God, the current tag champs.
That's right, they did beat God. Yeah, they hit that Tour of the Islands on Tangaloa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising.
Yeah, that was surprising. But once again, that was like what we mentioned last week. You know, you have these like off teams, like these I guess canon teams you could say, or like, you know, teams that are not as established beat the champions because they're probably not going to get a title shot.
It doesn't seem like it. No.
Yeah.
They're not as over. You know what's funny too? They're not over the way they were last year. Do you remember like how over Jeff Cobb was with all the crowds? Like,
yeah,
they were really like freaking out for Jeff Cobb last year, and Michael Elgin too.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it hasn't seemed like very much at all. Like the spots they do are good. Like, they're having good matches, but it doesn't seem like the crowd is like doing the ooh and the ah like how they did last year. They just seem like just a couple guys.
Mm-hmm. And you have a list here of some recommended matches so far.
Yeah, so so far, night 2, Saber Taichi and Yano and Ishii was highly recommended. LIJ versus Elgin and Cobb from night 2 that was the main event that night. Also very, very good. Saber and Taichi versus the Best Friends from night 4 was great. LIJ versus Yujiro and Paige from night 4. By the way, they're not allowed to be Dick and Balls anymore.
Yeah,
like, it's an official thing. Like, they were like told they're not allowed to be Dick and Balls. So
yeah.
That the Dick and Balls era is over in New Japan. Finjuice versus Elgin and Cobb from night 5 was very good. And then Saber and Taichi versus Yujiro and Paige, night 6, excellent. KES versus Best Friends, night 7, highly enjoyable. LIJ versus Saber and Taichi, that was a banger from night 7. Mm-hmm. Suzuki and Isaka versus Saber and Taichi from night 10. Maybe my favorite match of the tournament. I don't know, like, very unexpected to see Suzuki and Isaka in such a great match. It was awesome. And then LIJ against Yano and Ishii from night 10 was very, very good. And then Ishii and Yano against Super Strong Team from night 11. Bang, that was a hostile match. Awesome. I haven't finished night 12 yet.
Yeah, I mean, your list pretty much echoes my list. I mean, all those matches were great.
I would say these matches range from about 3.5 to 4 stars. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have anything rated over 4 stars personally. Would you? Do you?
Yeah, 4 stars has been my cap so far.
So, very interesting with this tournament because last year I did have several, and there's still time. Like, the tournament's not over, but I did have several matches that were rated up to about 4.5 stars. A few 4.25 star matches, and then that excellent Best Friend and Super Strong Team match last year, I had 4.5. The highs were pretty high, but the actual average of matches was extremely low last year. Mm-hmm. Whereas this year's tag tournament has been much better. I mean, the highs have not been as high yet, but the still, amount of high quality wrestling in this tournament has been exponentially higher and much, much better and more enjoyable. Like, the 2018 World Tag League blows the 2017 World Tag League out of the water.
Yeah. And something else that we need to talk about on this past week's tour, we've had the Mega Aces uniting on the main events on several of these shows. One night it was Tanahashi, Okada, and Kushida against Ishimori, Jay White, and Bad Luck Fale. And then the next 2 nights it was an 8-man tag. They added Rocky Romero on the Chaos side, and they added Gato on the Bullet Club side, and they ran those 2 back to back. Yeah,
so I'm trying to get it like a good. Obviously, they're building to the Tokyo Dome, Okada and Jay White.
And they're building Ishimori and Kushida
But I'm wondering how Tanahashi fits into all of this, and kind of give us a rundown on these matches and where you see this all kind of heading and what occurred these 2 nights.
Right. So the first night was the 6-man tag, and this was a match that I really, really enjoyed. I rated this match 4 stars. The crowd was really, really hot for this thing, and it was the first time ever having Okada and Tanahashi teaming together, and it was just a great moment, and I thought the action in the match was just really, really good. And in this matchup, obviously there was several interactions between Ishimori and Kushida. You had several interactions with obviously Okada and Jay White. There were some Tanahashi and Jay White interactions. But overall, a very good 6-man tag. And the finish of the match was Ishimori pinning Kushida, the current junior champ, and that's who he's challenging at Wrestle Kingdom. So that was kind of a big deal there.
So, Jay White made a point after both of these matches. Well, obviously, the Bullet Club, they beat down Tanahashi and Okada and attacked both of them after each match.
Right, so, yeah, they won all 3 matches. With Ishimori, he pinned Kushida the first night, and then he pinned Rocky Romero the last 2 nights.
So, with the Mega Aces kind of being this failed sort of thing, it kind of I'm just wondering what that means.
Right.
what does that mean? Where is this heading?
Well, I think how I've been seeing it, similar to when the Golden Lovers first got back together and their first match was like a 6-man tag with Chase Owens and they lost. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, this big comeback and they lost. But it wasn't until they had that big tag, just them alone tag match where they won. So I think eventually we're going to get just Okada and Tanahashi against 2 of these Bullet Club guys, and they're going to win.
That's what I was kind of wondering. So I'm not criticizing this yet. I just don't see where it's heading yet. I don't have it in my mind's eye. And with the feud kind of being between primarily Okada and Jay White, not to say, obviously, Tanahashi and Jay White have had a very storied year as well. So it's not like he's devoid of that. But, you also got to think most of Tanahashi's attention is on the Tokyo Dome and on Kenny Omega, that sort of thing. Do you think that the story is supposed to pay off in the short term at, say, the World Tag League Finals here at the end of the week? Because we don't have that card announced yet. And so is this leading to a tag match there? Or is this something that's going to extend beyond Wrestle Kingdom? And how do you, who would be the other guy that ends up teaming with Jay White, and how's that going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, it can go a couple different ways. I guess it all depends, if, Kenny doesn't re-sign and Tanahashi wins the belt, maybe then the blow-off is just here at World Tag League Finals and Tanahashi's going to run with the belt. Or, I mean, even if Tanahashi loses at the Dome, they could run the storyline on next year.
Maybe they do something at New Year's Dash.
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows how... But honestly, I could see it kind of being blown off at the World Tag League Finals for now. You have Okada and Tanahashi against Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. And then you have...
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, Fale could be the other. I was wondering who the other guy would be. Who makes sense to be the other guy?
And then you could have Tanahashi pin Fale since you keep Okada and Jay White from not pinning each other or kind of on even platforms. And you have Tanahashi...
Because I was thinking they could do, Gato, but that would be a cop-out at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless, you just want to see them get the comeuppance by getting their hands on him because he's so slimy.
Right.
But with them being, the Mega Aces, you kind of want them to...
Have a challenge.
Have a big-name guy. And I was like, well, Tama Tonga, that doesn't really work. He's G.O.D. But then you mentioned, Fale, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know what? That's probably a good... That would make a lot of sense to be the second guy. So yeah, maybe we get that World Tag League Finals. But maybe not. I don't know. But obviously, Jay White has had a field day cutting promos on these guys.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's been, like, burying these dudes. He's like, your dream team. This is your dream team. You were so excited when Okada and Tanahashi would team together, and I beat them. Okada, you can't beat me. Tanahashi, you can't beat me. Together, you can't beat me.
Like, never mind that, like, Tanahashi just beat this dude, like, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Like, but okay. I guess we'll just, conveniently forget about that. Yeah. But he's a heel. Heels have selective memory. So
Right, yeah.
it's just kind of funny. He's like, you can't beat me except for that one time that you did, like, 2 months ago.
Right.
In that really high-profile match on that really, really big pay-per-view.
And the time you also beat me at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, yeah. The time you beat me at Wrestle Kingdom. So. But other than that, you can't beat me. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think that they're doing a great job making Jay White look strong. And for all the criticisms that I have about the Bullet Club storyline and, the OGs and the Elite and all that sort of stuff, I think that these matches have done some really good things to kind of create a new vibe for the Bullet Club. Because on the last tour, when the Bullet Club was coming out, they just seemed discombobulated. I was like, what the crap is this? It felt like a bunch of rejects from different, factions, like, just being on the same team and not really, like, having, like, that unity that you're used to. But suddenly, something's changed. The way they're presenting the Bullet Club now, especially with Jay White getting some promo time and, like, really being like, we are the Bullet Club.
We're not a version of the Bullet Club. We are the Bullet Club.
The Switchblade era is upon us. And I'm like, yes!
And you notice that they've kind of gone back to, like, the original Bullet Club, the little, like, the Finn Balor, like, shooter gun thing.
You're looking at the real rock and roller. Yeah, absolutely. So I did notice that. So that's kind of cool. Oh, that's one thing we need to talk about. So we did a whole entire preview about... Do we have anything else to say about this before we move on?
No.
So we did a whole preview of this entire, field of competitors for the World Tag League. And you've got a representative of the Bullet Club Elite,
Quote, unquote.
quote unquote, in Dick and Balls. Chase, not Chase.
Hangman Pagey.
Hangman Pagey and Yujiro Takahashi. And then you got, the premier tag team of the OG Bullet Club in GOD. And at some point, these guys were going to end up wrestling each other, and they did, and they have. And we never talked about it or cared about it or made one remark about it.
It dawned on me as I was watching the match. Like, I saw them both come out, and I was like, oh my gosh. And you walked out the room, I was like, Josh, I'm like, do you know...
I hadn't thought about it.
I was like, you know how bad this Bullet Club Elite, Bullet Club OG feud is? It's so bad that, like, it wasn't even a big deal that these two teams would be facing off in this tournament.
Now, granted, I mean, Yujiro and Hangman are kind of a makeshift team, so I'll give you that. And, in the grand scheme of things, as great of a year as, Hangman's had, they are the two of the lower card guys in the Bullet Club. That being said, with how hot this feud was back in August and July, this should still be a big deal, and it's literally a non-factor.
And, like,
it's not a talking
even our
point.
listeners, like, nobody brought it up.
No one's mentioned it.
They only mentioned, like, Suzuki-Gun versus Suzuki-Gun. Like, nobody mentioned,
I didn't
like...
see anybody talk about it. Until you said something to me, I never even thought about it. And then when the match happened, it was like, was it English commentary? I feel like it was.
Yeah.
Was it Kevin Kelly?
Yeah, Kevin Kelly was by himself.
And he didn't bring, like, as great as Kevin Kelly was that night, he didn't, like, really talk too much about it either. You know what I mean? Like, It's kind of a non-factor at this point.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you, like, it's terrible. And I'm, like, wondering, like, this thing's done. It's done, dude. It died. For all the grand predictions and all the fantasy bookings and all the weird questions we got from our listeners about, the future, what would happen with the Golden Elite and this and that, it died a slow death. It was nothing. And now it's nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's nothing. It's crazy. Oh, man.
Anything else from the World Tag League you think we should mention or bring up?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things to talk about. So, so how are you feeling about at this point? 13 match, like the 13 match single block structure. How are you feeling now that we're kind of in the thick of it?
I'm not a fan. I miss having 2 blocks and having specific nights for each block and having a shorter tour. Even though the matches have been better this year and the tournament has been better, like it's been a struggle to keep up with. And this is coming from a guy that
Jeremy never gets behind when it comes to like watching New Japan. Like never.
Like 90% of what I watch on TV is pro wrestling. But dude, like there was one point this week, like I just got busy, like just like trying to have a social life and just doing other stuff. It was like,
oh, you're trying to have a social life. Tell us about that. That sounds interesting, bro.
Well, no, that's not that's not podcast business. But I'm trying to do stuff out here, and it's like there was one point this week where I was like behind like 3 shows, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to like sit down and like watch like 3 shows.
Bro, on Sunday morning, I was in the middle of day 6. I literally, for you people, I stayed home all day Sunday by myself and watched New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as great as that sounds, like, oh my God, bro.
Bro,
and I didn't even catch up. Like, I still have like the last 45 minutes of night 12 to like finish up. So yeah.
Dude, like, honestly, this is the first time where like I actually feel like fatigue, like trying to keep up with a tournament.
The funny thing is, like, the tournament started and like the nights were easy because it was like 3 matches.
Yeah.
And then one day, like, you go to watch a show and there's 7 matches, and then you're like, oh, it's one of those like full production shows. Then the next day you go to watch it and it's 7 matches. And then the next day you go to watch it and it's 7 matches. And you're like, what is happening? They didn't even do this, like, this is like the G1.
Seriously, dude, like, came out of nowhere. It was just like, oh my gosh, like.
But there are some things, so let's talk about some positive. The show, the actual wrestling, the actual matches have been so much better.
Yeah.
And one reason I think that maybe that the matches have been better, the crowds are better this year than they were last year. Obviously,
bigger houses.
Bigger houses, bigger crowds, more investment from the crowds. I just have a feeling that that's what's driving these guys to compete more, because they're having better matches than last year with arguably a crappier field. It is a lot of the same wrestlers, but it's a less intriguing field this year than it was last year. But these guys are all having better matches across the board. All of them. Everybody.
Yeah.
Including the New Japan dads.
Dude, including Iska.
Bro, Iska! Bro, I'm not skipping the Minoru Suzuki and Iska matches this year. Yes, there have been some bullcrap ones. There have been a couple. But there's only been a couple.
Sabre and Taichi against Suzuki and Iska.
Bro, Sabre and Suzuki, the first 5 minutes of that match
was amazing.
Is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so... And then Taichi trying to do that spell on Iska because he's his handler.
Yeah.
And then he tells him to go bite Suzuki. That match was great because it had, like, amazing chain wrestling. It had, like, the viciousness of Suzuki-gun matches. It had comedy. It had great near falls, technical. Like, it was just an all-around, very, very well-rounded match. Very good. Very, very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been the crazy thing. A lot of these teams have been overperforming to a higher level. Evil and Sonata this year are having a much better tournament because they're in the main event every night.
Yeah, dude, they're having good matches. They're so over. Like, the crowd's really into all their matches.
Ishii and Yano obviously are tearing it up. GOD's been good.
Yeah.
GOD's been really good.
Oh, yeah, that's something we gotta talk about. GOD, they busted out a new finish in this tournament.
Oh.
They're using Gato and Jado's Super Powerbomb.
Yeah, that Super Powerbomb is... They just started that, like, the night 11, right?
Yeah.
Who did they hit that on? That was... I'm trying to remember. Was that Ishii and Yano?
Let me see if I can...
Or was it Finjuice?
I think it might have been Finjuice.
Man, that move was awesome. Like, that move was really, really awesome. Yeah, and they made a point to mention this on the commentary, talking about how they're feeling some kind of way, and they're all in their feels because Magic Killer was the move that Guns and Gallows used for their finisher, and they had actually passed that down to GOD. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how the stun gun got passed from Carl Anderson to Tamatonga, but then, you know, LIJ last year was like, zoink.
Nah, it's ours now.
Run it. Run it. And yeah, they kind of took that from them. They're like, dude, that's like literally our finishing move. All right, whatever. So then they have a new finish move in it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Super power bomb. It's awesome. Of course, now, you know, they're with Gato and Jado, so it makes perfect sense for them to use their finisher.
They keep tricking me, bro, because every time like tag league and different tag matches come around and I see like how charismatic and interesting like Tama can be, I always want him to get it like a singles run, and I'm like, this guy could be a star, and then, you know, he gets a G1 and then fuck. But yeah, now some of the other things too I want to point out is like, yes, it has been difficult for us to consume the entire World Tag League. However, I do want to say this. They are doing excellent business, and I don't know that they necessarily intend for every fan to be super psychos like us and to binge watch the entire World Tag League.
Right.
So from like a business standpoint, the fact that they're doing all these big houses and they're doing these quality shows, I don't know that it's so problematic. But if you're like us and you're like a fan who's trying to follow it night after night on the streaming service, it gets tiresome. Mm-hmm. But it's not to a point where I'm like, you know, you guys are screwing up business or anything like that. It's like, dang. I think with the single block, the fact that they went from like 3 matches a night to 7 is a little overkill. I don't know what the real benefit of having this single block tournament is versus the, you know, the dual block. Mm-hmm. The dual block seems more manageable in my mind.
Yeah.
But maybe just the fact that they get a wider variety. Like, they actually have less teams and more matches and a longer tour.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what the benefit is. I don't know. One thing that does piss me off, though, they better have a good tag team like division this year in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because how good this tournament has been. It just goes to show you what could be.
Right.
What should be.
If they put time and effort into the division all year long like they're doing in this tournament, we could have a great tag division.
Yeah, bro. I understand in New Japan that there are ebbs and flows to everything. You know, the juniors are not always the focus, and, you know, vice versa and that sort of thing. And so when the tournaments come around, you get a chance to really highlight one facet of a division, whether it is the junior tag or the heavyweights during the G1, that sort of thing. So it's great that they're getting this, but they need to be a bigger focus going forward in the future so that these tournaments do become a bigger deal and are better, because this has been excellent, and there's no reason that tag team wrestling can't be this good. The other thing, too, and I wanted to point it out, was, you know, we had some criticisms about, you know, the teams that got matched up and some of the picks, and I still feel that way. I still feel like there could have been better teams. Like, how much better with how good, like, Hangman's been. What if Chase Owens had been here? Like, can you imagine?
Dude, yeah, that'd be so great.
But here's the cool thing. Some of our listeners had kind of criticized us and said, like, you know, this is kind of like a break for these guys before Wrestle Kingdom and that sort of thing. And I feel like they have found this really happy medium with this tournament to where, like, they're having quality matches. Majority of the time, there's nothing bad. And not only that, they're having great matches, too. But they're not killing themselves.
Right.
They're not doing a G1 where anyone's career is being shortened.
Yeah, nobody's being dropped on their heads or any bloody brawls or anything like that.
It's nothing crazy like that. But they have found this happy medium to where, like, we wanted the World Tag League to be a lot better and to be taken more seriously. And sure, it's not exactly what we had asked for, but it's so much better than we could have hoped for, but based on previous experience and based on everything that's happened in the last 3 or 4 tag leagues and the way the division has run. This has been a reinvigorated, like, division. And these guys are going out there and they're having great matches. And even, like, we criticize, like, the New Japan dads. And I still feel like, looking at Nakanishi and Tenzan, I still feel like some of those criticisms are valid. Mm-hmm. But this tournament...
Dude, they've been working hard.
They've been working...
Dude, this man, Nakanishi's out here doing crossbars off the top. He's doing planchas over the top, bro.
That plancha was... He should not be doing plancha.
Yeah, that man's what... He saw Tenzan do a moonsault the night before. He's like, God, I want to do a plancha. What? What?
I've seen him do a plancha before, but that was the worst one I've ever...
His foot got caught up in the top.
Oh, my God. It was so bad.
Oh, man. But, yeah, these New Japan dads are, like, wilding out here.
But here's the thing. If this tournament was, like, the killer kind of tournament that I wanted it to be, then no, the New Japan dads shouldn't be in it. But the way that this one's been, they fit a kind of important role where it is, like, guys can kind of take it easy with them. And there are nostalgia matches that matter. Like, you know, when Ishii and Yano went up against, like, Tenkoji, like, I was just watching it and, like, in awe of it. And I was like, how many more times am I going to see Ishii and, like, Tenzan run it, you know? Like,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. But they have found, I just want to say, like, they found this medium to where, like, they're having great matches without going over, like, this tour is still a break. They're still, like, able to kind of take it easy and gear up for Wrestle Kingdom. Mm-hmm. But they're having great matches at the same time. So it's, like, perfect, almost, to a degree. There are some things I would change. I would still like to see some outsiders come in.
Yeah.
Or have some of the teams that they established this year that they just threw by the wayside.
Right. Like, I would like 2019, like, start building your teams up in January, build them out all throughout the year, then have, like, a set of established teams that are in the tournament.
Because everyone, like, literally everyone is hand-waving this tournament. There are very few people that are, like, covering it extensively or even watching everything and paying attention. And now I feel, like, rewarded that we have so much more than I did last year because it's been way better.
Yeah.
Oh, before we move on, a couple other things. Freaking Kevin Kelly's been excellent every time he's been on, but Mavs Gillis by himself was very bad.
What show was Mavs?
I don't think it was originally, like, he called it live. I think it was post-studio sort of stuff.
Yeah, all of it's been post-studio.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, Kevin Kelly's not in Japan right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a night where I was watching it. Rich was here with me, and it was Mavs Gillis. And he's pretty good. But, man, by himself in the studio, just him, I turned it off. I turned it off and I put on the Japanese commentary because it was much better. So I want to throw that out there.
So the English commentary have been they come up late. So I've watched Japanese commentary for like 2 of the shows because there was no English yet. So maybe one of the ones that I watched Japanese, he was on there.
He's pretty good, but with him it was more just like calling all the moves, and you want people to call the moves obviously, but it was just like there wasn't enough color. You know,
right?
It was strictly play-by-play.
The thing I hear about
limited play-by-play.
About Mavs Gillis, he's never commentated wrestling before. He's actually a hockey announcer. So
he needed somebody to play off of. There was not enough insight to what was happening, and it was a lot of dead air. A lot of dead air, or he just kept talking. Or when there wasn't dead air, he just kept talking. Like it was like a lot of excitement.
Right.
But when you hear Kevin Kelly, he's like a symphony. It's like he knows the high notes, the low notes. Like he can do the whole show by himself, and he's freaking excellent. He doesn't need anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't. Joey Styles.
Fuck that. Like forget Joey Styles. It's Kevin Kelly.
Yeah,
Joey Styles is not as good as Kevin Kelly.
Oh no, I'm just saying that's like how Joey Styles used to do ECW by himself.
I know, but that's the popular like thing that people say is like Joey Styles because he like called ECW. Like I've never thought that Joey Styles was ever that good to begin with, but give him credit where credit's due. But he's never been in the league of where Kevin Kelly is right now. Kevin Kelly is like at his zenith.
Yeah, dude. Kevin Kelly.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's killing it right now.
And I'm sorry, Joey Styles, if you're listening. Like, I love you. I love ECW. But, dude, Kevin Kelly is like, he's the GOAT right now. Like, I might sound like too fanboy, but, like, dude, he's really, 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 really good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that, the people who watch on Access, I mean, they're going to get him all year round now.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you want to say about any of these teams before we move on? Because I know we kind of just glossed over them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, Sabre and Taichi, we mentioned it last week and a little bit today, like, they're one of the teams that I was not expecting good stuff from, and they've, been a pleasant surprise. They're one of the better teams in this tournament.
I think they've been the MVP team of the tournament.
Yeah.
As far as match quality goes, I think it's pretty clear they're not going to win this thing. But they've been so good. And Taichi's been like, Zack Sabre has made Taichi interesting to me again. Like a guy that I want. Like after those never title matches, I was just like, go Taichi, go home.
Yeah.
But now
go
I'm like,
home, Taichi.
But now I'm just like, go Taichi.
Ishii and Yano have been great as usual.
Yes, Ishii and Yano have been very, very, very good.
Like we mentioned, Evil and Sonata, they've been like the stars of this tour. Like they're getting the hot responses. They're the main events of everything. They're delivering. So they've been like the standout stars.
That's what happens when you put someone over and have them win a tournament, and you put a title on them and you showcase them. Like they get over. Other companies should learn like how to put people over. And I'm not like aiming that. I know you're laughing because you think I'm talking about WWE. I'm not. I'm talking about wrestling in general.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, it's not that hard. You take them through a field of competitors. You give them wins. Wins matter. Everyone's always like, do wins matter? No, they don't matter. Well, they matter when you want to get someone over. That's how you get guys over.
Yeah.
You have them win matches so that everyone knows they're the best. And you give them a freaking trophy because trophies rule. You put a belt on them so people know they're the champions. And you know what people do? They buy into them.
Yeah.
Because they got gold. Because they're a big deal, Because
they destroy people. Like Sabre, for example. He ran through aces, so now you see him as a threat. Evil and Sonata, they won this thing last year, so you see them as, a top team.
It's not that hard, man. But yeah, Evil and Sonata have been really, really good this year. I really liked the Killer Elite Squad and Zack Sabre and Taichi match.
Yeah.
With Taichi running all over the building and Lance Archer chasing him.
He's like, you come up here. No, you come down here. You come up here. No, you come down here.
That was really good. Plus the stuff with like Davey Boy Smith and
Sabre.
And Sabre was great. And I just sat there wondering like I'm pretty sure Davey Boy would murder Zack Sabre in a real fight.
That man won the what was that shoot tournament? He won the
I think it was the Billy Robinson.
Yeah, the Billy Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah. What have you thought about? I know our boy Wilfred. He thought that Tenkoji was gonna be like number 3 or something like that, and they're already eliminated from the math. What are your thoughts on Tenzan and Kojima as well as Nagata and Nakanishi?
Like we mentioned, I think all 4 of the New Japan dads here, they have been working really hard in every match possible. Due to their age and their just deteriorating bodies, some spots have been kind of messed up or botched, or they haven't been able to hit quite the high note they want to, but they're still trying hard every night. I'm not surprised at where either of these 2 teams are based on who else is in this tournament. I mean, Tenkoji, you might think they could be a little bit higher, but based on everybody else in this tournament, I think they're kind of right where they're
kind of playing the spoilers though. Tenkoji is because they keep getting these big wins over the bigger name teams. And it's kind of nice because the bigger name teams need to take losses for this tournament to work because it's single block. Mm-hmm. What better team than the most decorated tag team in New Japan history? But they're also not going to win. They're already eliminated. So they're basically just playing spoiler, which is kind of cool. But something about like this young field of competitors plus the crowds like really ignited something in these in the third generation guys because they've been going out there and they're trying really hard to put on good matches.
Yeah.
Like Tenzan's been doing moonsaults, y'all. Like,
yeah, dude.
I thought we were never gonna see that again. Like, so that part of me, like the nostalgia, man. It's been pretty cool. Yoshida and Umino, 0 and 9. That's exactly what you would expect.
Right.
But
And those guys, I mean, they've been, the young lions always,
Yoshida's hitting that really freaking cool rolling armbar that Shinsuke Nakamura used to do.
Oh, yeah.
And Umino has some sort of submission that he's been doing. I don't remember what it is.
I think he's just been doing the crab, or is it something different?
No, he does do that. He's been doing that, but like when Yoshida goes to do the straight armbar, I'm sorry, when Umino, I've been saying Yoshida, scratch that. When Umino goes and hits that rolling straight armbar, Yoshida has something else that he's been putting people in. But I can't remember what it is.
I mean, all their mechanics have looked great. They've been solid.
Yeah.
And been doing their job perfectly.
And then obviously Hangman and Yujiro. Hangman is just, he's the star. But
and dude, Yujiro's
working hard.
Yeah, dude, he's out doing dives. Like,
something happened in the middle of this tournament where like Hangman, there's that saying like, all ships rise with the tide. And for some reason, as this tournament has gotten better, everyone's been working harder. And this is literally, guys, at this point right now where we're at, this is the point where these tournaments die. Night 10, night 11, night 12.
Yeah.
This is where guys like take it easy. We're a week away from the finals. Like, there's no point to go out there and kill yourself. Like, they already did the Corkin shows, but these guys are working really hard.
Yeah, they're working really hard. Yeah.
And I'm like kind of like befuddled about it. Like, we have to eat crow because we thought this tournament was gonna suck.
I know, we look like such
idiots. The only we do look like idiots. The only real criticism I have is like, I think the single block is a little cumbersome.
Right, yeah. I would prefer 2 blocks.
It makes it harder to keep track of things and also to space things out as far as like just being able to consume it from a viewing standpoint. But that's really about it.
All right. I mean, and you can't complain about maybe some of the pairings, maybe, but I mean, it is what it is. But
everybody's like getting over. Yeah. You know what's funny is like, I think Elgin and Cobb is like the one team that I'm looking at that I'm like, they're as good as they are and as good as things are going, like they're going to be better off being apart from each other once the tournament's over.
Yeah,
they're not doing each other any favors in this tournament. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic between those two guys.
Finjuice's been really good.
Oh yeah, Finlay and Juice Robinson. Yeah, they've been killing it.
And hey, look, those are 2 guys that you thought were going to be pretty low on this.
No, I said they were going to be middle of the road.
They're not middle of the road.
I know.
They're not even close to middle of the road. They're 2 points away from being right at the top, which I told you. I said they're not going to win this thing, but mathematically they're going to be near the top, and it makes sense because Juice is going to look at the guys that are like right at the bottom, like Juice, title contender, Zach, title contender. These are guys who are having big singles matches coming up. They got to be protected and made to look strong, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my review of the World Tag League.
Yeah, and so, we have a few more nights this week, the finals.
We've got 5 nights left. Every team has gone through 9 matches, so there's 4 more regular tournament matches. The 3rd, the 4th, and then Thursday and Friday.
The 6th and the 7th.
The 6th and the 7th. The 7th will be the final, and both of those are going to be full production shows with Kevin Kelly, and I believe Excalibur from PWG fame is going to be calling those matches with him, which is awesome. And then the finals will be Sunday night, the 9th.
Yeah. And so
where we stand now, where do you see this thing going, man?
I'm still firmly behind Evil and Sonata winning this thing.
Maybe before we go, we should just take a look and see, so we can do a quick sort of like prediction. Let's look at the field and see where everybody is. So at this point, I know we weren't gonna discuss what happened as of today's standings, but we're kind of here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So right now, Tamatonga and Tangaloa have 16 points, which means that they won their match today. Sonata and Evil won their match today. They're at 16 points. Ishii and Yano are at 16 points, so they won their match. They're still a 3-way tie for first place. At second place, Killer Elite Squad has 14 points, so they also won their match. Juice and Dave Finley are at 12 points, which I believe that means
they lost.
They lost, yeah. Elgin and Cobb won their match, but they're at 12 points. And then Sabre and Taichi are at 10. Beretta and Chucky T are at 10, which means they both lost their matches. So because there are only 3 matches left, that means there's 6 points total that a team could hypothetically gain. So that means that Suzuki, Iizuka, Best Friends, and Sabre and Taichi are all mathematically eliminated. The best they could hope to do is tie the teams that are there right now. Mm-hmm. And it seems likely that Elgin and Cobb and Juice and Finley are done as well. It would be they're not eliminated yet, but I mean, they would have to win all 3 of their matches going forward, and it's highly unlikely that the other teams are all going to lose. It's very unlikely.
Right, so let's take a look at who these teams are facing these last few nights so we've got an idea of who could possibly really win this thing.
Well, it's the 4 teams that we thought were going to lead this thing to begin with. So you've got Killer Elite Squad, GOD, Ishii and Yano of Chaos, and then Sonata and Evil from LIJ. Mm-hmm. On night 4, Killer Elite Squad has Hinare and Makabe. God has the Young Lion team. Chaos has the Best Friends, and LIJ has Finjuice. So you can pretty much at this point determine that GOD's got a win going into that night.
Yeah.
On night 6, Killer Elite...
December 6th?
Oh, I'm sorry. December 6th, Hangman Page and Yujiro will take on Killer Elite Squad. God will be taking on the Best Friends. Chaos is also going to be taking on the Young Lion team, so they'll pick up a win there most likely. Mm-hmm. And then LIJ will be taking on Suzuki and Iizuka. The very interesting thing here, on the final night, December 7th, Killer Elite Squad's taking on LIJ. Mm. And then Chaos is taking on God. So these 4 teams will be facing off against each other. They'll probably be very close in points, and that will probably
determine who's going to the finals. Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, it's probably not rocket science. We probably could have just stopped and looked at the at what December 7th booking was to kind of get a feel for who'd be like leading in this tournament.
Right.
I'm kind of glad we didn't, but at this point, it does look like.
But I mean, even without looking, we pretty much knew those 4 teams would probably be at the top.
Yeah, I think that there's a good chance, in my opinion, that it winds up being like LIJ and Killer Elite Squad as sort of like a 1-block final, and then Chaos and God as like another block final, and whoever wins those 2 matches will likely be facing off against each other in the finals.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, same here.
So I think that I think Killer Elite Squad will win the next 2 nights. And I think there's a good chance that some of these teams might get upset to kind of
even
things out. Mm-hmm. Especially with like Chaos and God taking on the Best Friends and LIJ taking on Finjuice and Suzuki and Iizuka.
Yeah, all 3 of those teams to me are potential spoilers, especially with Best Friends. We have no idea what's going on with Chucky T. I mean, he could try and act normal for a match and pull off a win.
With Best Friends going against Chaos, and they're all part of Chaos, that's another kind of interesting dynamic.
Yeah. And I mean, Finley and Juice, they can pull up an upset on somebody.
Even if, like, let's say Killer Elite Squad ends up going against LIJ and ends up tying them, but if they beat them on that December 7th night, that's the tiebreaker, and then even if they end up with equal points,
they beat them, so they
beat
move
them
on.
and move on. So it is interesting that Killer Elite Squad and LIJ are our 2 predictions, and they're going to be facing off on that December 7th night. So only one of us could be right, basically, at that point.
Yeah.
Because I don't see those 2 teams, given the scenario, ending up in a rematch in the finals, basically. So this is kind of like your playoffs right here, is what we're winding up with.
Right.
Very interesting stuff, man. So we're here. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. World Tag League 2018 will be in the books. All right, so now we're going to jump into the news here. I'm going to start off with the Young Bucks. They had some replies to the All Elite Wrestling filings. The Young Bucks, they appeared on the latest edition of the Wrestling Perspective podcast with Petey Williams and Dennis Farrell. And during the appearance, they were asked about the recent filings of All Elite Wrestling, which we talked about, which is led to be led by Tony Khan, who's the son of the Jacksonville Jaguars owner, Jaid Khan. So Matt talked about All In September being so special. He said that All In felt like more than just a wrestling event, but more like a religious experience. He said that after that,
Kinda did.
He said that after that event, he asked the fans if they wanted more of it, and there was an uproar. He said has become a movement. So they sat as a group that night and talked about doing another event. Matt noted that they knew that there would be another one in some capacity, whether it's a year from now or even further down the road. We're in a situation now where we don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we want to protect ourselves in case we decide we want to do something, Matt said. We want to be proactive and we want to get ahead of this thing. We, the elite, are all sticking together and we're going to do this thing as a unit. So whatever we decide to do, we absolutely are going to do this as a team. We're going to do this as the elite. It's going to be an interesting 2019. The Bucks will become free agents on January 1st. Nick Jackson said they literally have offers on the table from everyone. And Matt noted there are investors that want to work with them as well. There's still a lot to be discussed, Nick said. We haven't really said no to anything. We're just keeping our options open and protecting ourselves at the same time. Matt and Nick added that Ring of Honor have been 100% great and supportive with them. I'll tell you this, they've still been very active in negotiating with us to say, Nick said. Matt added, as far as the ROH part of this goes, we've made our decision and don't want to give it away either because we have a huge storyline on our Being the Elite show, so I don't want to give it away spoilers. Matt added that the last few years have been the best in his career, and it was because ROH let them let their hair down and stood by them. They've been incredible partners, Matt said. Whatever happens on January 1st, I'll never take that away. So yeah, man, what are your thoughts on what the Bucks have to say here?
I mean, it's kind of boilerplate. There's nothing illuminating there. I did hear where they had kind of mentioned that some of these trademarks that were taken out were things that they, were just trying to trademark for future use.
Get ahead of it, yeah.
But the interesting thing is some of the trademarks that have been taken out, they didn't trademark. This group, you said it was the Khan group, with AEW, they're the ones who own some of those trademarks that they would like to use. So what that means is if this project takes off and it becomes a thing, then great. But hypothetically, if these guys wanted to use some of the, like, Double or Nothing or, Tuesday Night Dynamite, I don't know.
Yeah.
They can't without the permission of the people that trademarked it because they themselves did not trademark it. I also did see, I don't know if you caught this, but, like, Cody and Brandy were, like,
and Jacksonville game this Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
In the booth or whatever.
Yeah, so that's kind of telling as well. But yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I mean, I don't know what's happening. I think most pundits and people that are more knowledgeable about business, this sort of thing, they all pretty much say that there's no point in doing this project unless they get a TV deal.
So,
I mean, they could probably have some level of success, but to make the kind of money that that they should make,
they need TV.
They need TV. They need distribution, and that's the bottom line. So without that, and it's a big if, and we don't know how it's going to affect Ring of Honor and the American scene and New Japan and all that. So anything can happen at this point. We have no idea. And the more I've kind of pondered it, it does seem kind of crazy. It's like, what if this thing pops off? What does it mean for that? Well, obviously, I mean, before we move on, we're going to talk about WWE here in a moment, but we should just talk about the fact that, dude, WWE is signing everybody. They have made several major high-profile... I know we touched on it last week, but, since that time, the entire, UK contracts have changed. They signed Walter to a deal.
Yeah, well, we mentioned Walter last week. Yeah.
They signed Jonah Rock to a deal. They signed Ilja Dragunov to a deal. And then, different guys are getting booked. We're going to talk about, well, we might as well bring it up now. Brody King and PCO just both got signed by Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
People are drawing the battle lines right now.
Yeah, dude. Everybody's snatching up talent right now.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, I should have become a worker and been on the scene because, like, it doesn't matter who you are. You're about to get a freaking TV deal. Like,
yeah, you better get signed by somebody.
So it also makes you wonder, like, what is, like, this is what I thought was going to happen when Flow Slam became a thing and all these streaming services and everything was becoming, like, battle lines were being drawn back then. And then it kind of fell apart and things kind of became more of this, like, inter-promotional, we're going to work together sort of thing. But it feels like that's going away very quickly.
Those battle lines are being drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, this is non-New Japan or WWE related, but, recently with, LAX having to be pulled off of Evolve cards because Impact doesn't want their champions losing. It's like...
And, Gabe Sapolsky actually came out publicly and said, like, that they acquiesced to those requests and came up with scenarios where they were not going to lose. They weren't going to take any pinfalls.
They did like a 6-man tag the next night and then a triple threat tag.
Yeah, they were going to take the falls, and they still wouldn't let them do it because... And it makes perfect sense from a business standpoint. It is interesting, though, because Impact has been like the company that's let their guys work pretty much wherever they wanted. So that's why it's kind of significant. Impact, like, doesn't pull guys off deals. But, I mean, if you think about it, you're looking at a company in Evolve that is working hand-in-hand with WWE.
And the guys they're facing are Street Profits, who are all over NXT TV and the Largo Loop.
They're not even really on TV, are they?
Yeah, they're still been on NXT TV.
Okay. But I mean, like, they're like prelim guys on TV, basically. They
Right.
haven't even really been elevated. And at some point, it's conceivable that the Evolve library, or at least the WWE Evolve shows, are going to show up on the network. And do you want your World Tag Team Champions, like, being in a losing effort in a smaller indie promotion that's getting showcased by WWE? It doesn't really make good business sense.
Yeah. So, speaking of WWE, the announcement came out that they switch NXT TakeOver to Friday.
Woo!
The Hall of Fame now being on Saturday.
Yeah, boy.
Which means they are no longer competing with Ring of Honor and New Japan, which means we can go to TakeOver and Supercard.
If we get tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. One time I had tickets for NXT in Orlando, WrestleMania weekend, and I let a girl distract me, and I didn't end up going to that show.
Dang. Hard times. Like we mentioned earlier, longtime independent wrestler Excalibur. You might know him from PWG, and he does a lot of the commentary now for PWG.
You don't know what hard times is, daddy.
He'll be joining Kevin Kelly for commentary on New Japan World December 6th, 7th, and 9th.
Excalibur's good, man.
Yeah, he is. He was on commentary for All In as well.
Yeah.
G1 Supercard will be airing live on New Japan World.
Yeah, so you guys might be able to see our mugs out there in the Madison Square Garden amongst the how many fans are going to that show? Like
15,000, I think.
That's it?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 16 or something, or maybe more. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, somewhere in that range.
It's gonna be a lot though.
Yeah.
Oh, before we move on, like, what's the deal with WWE switching TakeOver to Friday? Like, because they're saying they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. It just seems so unlikely.
They said that they figured it would be more friendly or whatever for their fans.
So I think that there were people who immediately were hypothesizing that the competition from Madison Square Garden and from the New Japan Ring of Honor joint show was something that they were worried about, and maybe they were kind of concerned that if they didn't sell out the Barclays Center or something like that, it wouldn't look good. I say that's bullcrap. I know that we're not like on the end, but I just don't think that that's even a little bit true. I don't think it's true at all. Bro, TakeOver sells out like on WrestleMania weekend. I don't care what show is going on. Like, how many people are going to be at MetLife?
For WrestleMania?
Yeah, like 80 something.
Yeah.
There's no way they're not selling out TakeOver. Like those Bro, how many times have we been at WrestleMania weekend and the people we talk to don't even know about other wrestling?
Right.
They don't even know that other stuff is going on. Like, when you tell them other stuff exists, they're like, what? They're literally, like, WWE marks don't know about this sort of stuff. So, yes, there probably are some crossover. There are some people that were, like, drawn away from TakeOver to this. But TakeOver is going to sell out. You put on Thursday, you put on Friday, you put on Saturday. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what it's going against. It's going to freaking sell. It's WrestleMania weekend. And the people that came from around the world are going to buy TakeOver tickets. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think for a moment that they moved it to avoid competition from a show that already got sold out anyways. It's been sold out for a long time. So it's not like they're having, like, the damage is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe the TakeOver show, the TakeOver show is probably going to sell. Maybe it's not going to sell as fast as MSG sold out, maybe.
Maybe that's something they're worried about, but
I don't know.
I really don't think that's what it is. So there are some things that people are hypothesizing. There's the thought that maybe they're actually going to run like a bigger name for the Hall of Fame, and that might have something to do with their decision to run the Hall of Fame on Saturday versus the Friday.
Right. There's a potential of All Elite Wrestling wanting to have a show on a Friday, so they're blocking them.
There is that. That is the rumor that people are starting to come up with. It seems a little premature in my mind for this group who's getting announced. Hypothetically, if it's actually happening, here in just a few weeks in January.
Yeah, January 1st, yeah.
For them to turn around and have a show WrestleMania weekend, that would seem very, very quick. That being the case, they could probably get it done, and WrestleMania weekend would be like the perfect time to do something if you were gonna do something. There are people with the latest being the Elite, and we'll talk about it. There was some strange things with Nick Jackson that might make you think that they are getting ready to run a show.
Yeah.
And so there have been rumors flying around that really why they moved this show is to block the potential of a Friday show from other outside interests like All Elite, and it has nothing to do with New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So
I don't know, but WWE does not make moves like this for no reason.
Right. They're very calculated.
They're very calculated.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that they did this because of New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Why would they if they were gonna do that, they would have just changed it a long time ago. They wouldn't have waited this long to make this sort of change. It seems so abrupt. This is very reactionary.
Yes.
They know something that we don't know.
Yeah. So we'll keep our eyes on that.
Also, before we move on, one last thing about the changing, stuff that's changing. There have been reports from multiple promoters and multiple sources about contract tampering and with guys getting signed up and stuff. There have been literal reports about WWE reaching out, and breaking contracts and clauses and stuff like that. I was even listening to Court Bauer today and he was talking about how they've literally had to send cease and desist several times in the past year to tell that WWE stop talking to their guys when they're under contract. And that's from the source.
Yeah, Court Bauer, the big man in charge in MLW. Yeah. Yeah,
and he said that Dave Meltzer reported the same thing, and there've been rumors flying around for a while that they've been talking to New Japan guys and that they've been talking to Ring of Honor guys that were, and some guys under contract, some guys not.
Well, remember Naito said that they try to hit him up.
Yeah, and so there's been a lot of that going on. This company is trying to snuff out any chance of a real competition in America coming to them.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it or not.
They're trying.
They're trying.
So moving on, there were 5,000 applications for tickets sent in for New Year's Dash, just from the New Japan fan club. The problem is there are only 1,700 for sale, and there may be more than 2,000 Americans going that week who will want to see New Year's Dash, and not to mention fans in Tokyo or traveling to Tokyo from Japan and other countries. So New Year's Dash is going to be a packed house.
They need to do closed circuit TV like the 1980s. Or they actually probably need to hold New Year's Dash in a bigger arena next year and not do Corkin.
Right.
I know it's a tradition. I know it's what they like to do, but dude,
get the money.
Yeah, you got people coming there. There's a lot of people that want to go to that show. That show has become a big deal.
And NJPW1972.com did a 2-part interview with IWGP IC champ Chris Jericho. Check that out on the website. It talks a lot about Evil and Naito and Wrestle Kingdom. Speaking of Chris Jericho, he was pictured recently with Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, which have been fueling Impact rumors that Jericho will be appearing for Impact sometime in 2019. Juice Robinson has done a recent backstage interview talking about taking back the IWGP US champion. He said, "In the back of my head, there's Cody, that prima donna son of a bitch, that bleach blonde suit wearing silver spoon up his ass, walking around with my IWGP US championship. Yeah, he beat me fair and square. I've never beaten Cody, but I will beat Cody. And I don't know when, I don't know where, but the next time Juice Robinson is in the ring with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, it's going to be for the US championship. And I'm going to walk out of whatever effing building it is with it over my shoulder."
Nice.
So, you know, there's anticipation for Juice and Cody happening at Wrestle Kingdom.
There's anticipation that Juice will do what Juice does. Fog.
New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced this week that they will be airing every Sunday in South Korea on FX. The show will air past matches from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. The free match of the week is Evil and Sonata versus Tama Tonga and Tangaloa from the World Tag League 2017 Finals. A great matchup, so if you haven't watched that,
It's high.
Well, I mean, it's a good match.
I did not think it was a good match.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just not remembering it as well, but
I remember being super overbooked, and I hated it, and I couldn't believe that was the finals.
well, I don't know. Check it out. Let us know what you think about it. Rev Pro has booked Will Ospreay versus Pac for High Stakes 2019. I believe it's happening in February, and wow, what a hell of a match that's going to be.
I think Pac is challenging for the
Dragon Gate Championship.
Yeah, the open what is it?
Open the Dragon
Gate? I don't know. I don't follow that promotion.
Yeah, I know it's open to something. Yeah, but yeah, he's challenging for that.
Who's he wrestling in January? Is it ZSJ?
Yes, Sabre on January 5th or 6th.
So he's wrestling Sabre on the 6th, and then he's got Will Ospreay at Red Pro High Stakes. I saw one of Will Ospreay's stories, and he said that he's been hit up by so many wrestlers. He's like, I feel like half the crowd is going to be pro wrestlers. That's how hot this match is going to be.
Yeah.
That's going to be a banger. There's no way that doesn't. That might be match of the year, bro. That has early match of the year contender written all over it.
Yeah.
And probably that might end up being one of our excursion matches of the year.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. Like we already mentioned, Brody King and PCO have signed with Ring of Honor. Dragon Lee will be making his MLW debut this week, the 13th, not this week, but coming up on the 13th and the 14th. And then last thing we gotta cover is Being the Elite, episode titled Premonition.
Yeah. I just had a premonition.
Oh man, so this episode, the main thing was all about Nick Jackson's vision at the end, or something happening on New Year's Day.
Oh my god, bro. I love when Nick Jackson gets visions. It's the funniest crap. It's my favorite bit that they do. It's you guys can't see me, but I'm doing the Nick Jackson. It's awesome.
And then, you had Cody and Brandy seem to be getting the money shakes again.
I'm kind of over that bit. There's a lot that I haven't, every time I watch Being the Elite lately, I'm kind of not in love with it the way I was earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting to kind of follow it because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Christopher Daniels is struggling with his SCU identity.
That's funny. He's from Michigan like me.
Marty's still trying to get people to go to his party. He got Kenny Omega locked in.
Yujiro and Hangman were doing bits, but I did not understand what Yujiro was saying.
Yeah.
Literally. So I did not get the bit at all. I was just all right.
Yeah, the only thing I understand was him saying don't trust those. Yeah. But besides that, I don't know what the second thing he had said.
Probably some story that won't lead to anything.
Yeah. But yeah, overall,
the main really interesting thing was at the end of the show, Nick Jackson got that premonition, and anytime Nick Jackson gets a vision,
it comes true.
On the show, it usually relates to something big business-wise that they're doing. We've seen this in the past where he had like visions, and it had to do with the Young Bucks against the Golden Lovers at Long Beach. He had another one, and it was Cody versus Kenny at Supercard of Honor. Mm-hmm. He had another one, and it had to do with All In.
Yeah.
So he hasn't had one of these in a while, and I'm guessing it either has to do with... And afterwards, after he had his vision, during the vision, they showed shots of All In, and they showed shots of the...
fireworks and the ball dropping. And then and all the guys like hugging and stuff, and it seemed to, and then I did catch Cody being like Double or Nothing. Yeah.
So it seems like they're maybe they're gonna announce All In 2 or maybe the new promotion. That's what it seems like it's leading to.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for the news. Next week we'll be back with our review of the World Tag League Finals and all the kind of World Tag League fallout, and build going into the road to Tokyo Dome and the Wrestle Kingdom.
Dude, Wrestle Kingdom's coming up.
Make sure you get your votes in our second annual Keeping It Strong Style year-end awards, and share those votes with your fellow New Japan fans and friends. And 1 year in the books, and we're ready to kick off another year, man.
I'm out. Tap. We need to work out a new deal. Like, I need a new contract negotiation. Because I'm a busy man. I need to get on one of those. You can be like the Kevin Kelly. I'm going to get on that Don Callis schedule.
Oh, man.
I'm going to come in for the big shows, brother.
So you can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network and leaving a rating and review. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, the show is at KI Strong Style. I'm at Jeremy L. Donovan. Social Suplex is at Social Suplex. Facebook, we're facebook.com/Social Suplex. You can also join us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. On Reddit, I am the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, jeremy@socialsuplex.com. to send any questions, or if you have any interest in being a part of Social Suplex. Check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. They just dropped their NXT TakeOver reviews for all of 2018.
Very good.
Yeah, check that out. The Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. Those guys went to ICW this weekend, so I'm sure they're going to be...
Loathing.
Yeah, they're going to be talking all about that on their show this week. The Outsider's Edge, featuring Rance, Carl, and Kyle, in our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling. Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan. So don't forget, subscribe and leave a rating and review. And until next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.